This is Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, and you're listening to WNS.
You're listening to the official Wrestling News Source podcast. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com or check us out on Facebook by searching WrestlingNewsSource.com or WNS Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Stitcher, and iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast or WNS Podcast. Now being broadcast in over 45 different countries, here are your hosts, Daniel Herron, Tyler Abear, and Doug.
That's right. What's up, everyone? I am Daniel Herron.
I'm Tyler Abear.
Hi. Hello. I'm Doug.
Hi, Doug. Yay. Welcome back. And welcome to episode 243 of the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com. Check us out on Facebook, WrestlingNewsSource.com. You can find us on Facebook, WNS Podcast, on YouTube, WNS Video, and on iTunes, Wrestling News Source Podcast.
We're on Dat, Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast.
That was my best translation. Yeah, the podcast is on Twitter. It's at WNS Podcast. Daniel's at WNS_Daniel. Tyler is at Tyler_Aber.
There you go. So welcome to the show. Welcome back, Doug. We missed you.
Hey, I'm back.
Great to have you back.
Hey, this isn't popping dogs, talking hogs.
No,
I thought I was booked for that.
Well, I mean, if you want to, never mind. So welcome to the show. Got lots to talk about. Going to dive into some feedback, talk about Night of Champions, going to talk about Raw. Got a very special interview with WWE Superstar, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, so don't go anywhere for that. But how you doing?
Doing fine.
Yeah?
Yep.
Hanging in there?
Hanging in
Ready
there.
for the show? Got your hair cut?
Yes.
Got your hair did?
Got my hair did.
All right. Good stuff.
Looks stupid.
Yeah.
You got a dumb haircut, Tyler. Get out of here.
Hair looks stupid.
Joking. I'm joking.
Doug, how are
It
you?
looks nice. I'm good. I'm
Yeah?
just checking out Tyler's nice haircut.
All right. Good stuff. So welcome to the show.
Very nice.
We'll kick things off with some feedback. First bit of feedback we have is from Brian saying, "Hey guys, from a somewhat rainy California, enjoyed the show as always. I think the shower talk made me wash up about 5 different ways this past week. Anyway, we all knew that Nikki Bella would take the record, and I dare you to take a shot for how many times we will hear the announcers jam that in our ears on Sunday, meaning this past Sunday for Night of Champions. It means nothing when your last title defense before this was in July. I usually have to watch an Attitude Era episode of Raw to get the taste off my palate. Just got to the episode where Taker freaking hung Austin on the symbol. Anyway, love the show. Enjoy the show this Sunday, guys, and stop any fans who are trying to jump the barricade." Wow, talk about foreshadowing. Sorry we let you down. We were in the upper section, and we're unable to get to the guy in time.
I couldn't get there, fast enough. But
I want to say something about Nikki's title reign. I know it's sort of popular to put down Nikki and some of the other divas, but as far as number of title defenses, and I didn't personally fact check this, but I heard someone out there who did go through the defenses and says she has roughly the same amount of defenses as AJ Lee. So if you're all over AJ Lee as this great diva, she defended the title roughly the same amount of times as Nikki Bella.
There you go.
So I don't know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I think it's just because they didn't want her to hold on to it. Just a personal preference for the fans, and not to mention she was portraying the heel, so heels got to get booed, and she did her job in getting booed.
No, I'm fine if your personal taste prefers AJ Lee. I mean, I don't think, to me, there's not that much of a difference between an AJ Lee and a Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
I'm fine if your personal preference leans to AJ over Nikki, but if you're looking at facts, you can't just be like, she didn't defend the title that much, because AJ didn't either.
Right. So, but thank you very much, Brian. We did enjoy the show, and we're going to
neither of that is neither of the women's fault, though.
Right.
Obviously.
Right. And again, sorry for not stopping the fan who jumped the barricade, because that is indeed what happened. Next bit of feedback we have is from Sups, saying, if only CM Punk stayed in WWE for just one more year, he could have had the most amazing storylines with Kevin Owens, Neville, Balor, Zayn, and so many more. So we'll never know what could have been had he toughed it out a little bit longer. But he did what he felt was best, and I agree with him for making the decision. You don't want your body to break down on you, and cause injury or self-harm or anything like that. So walking away was the best decision he could have made. So if he really wants to go up against these guys, if he'd like to give the fans something like that, I'm sure he'll try and negotiate something. But until then, it looks like he's focused on UFC, and I applaud him for that. So good stuff. But thanks for the feedback, subs. Before we dive into Night of Champions, we did get to have a little bit of fun before that Sunday. I know last Thursday, Tyler and we got to go to Houston to see the fine folks of NXT.
Before getting to the show and talk a little about that, I think everything that like going up there just kind of worked out pretty good, just by just little things. Just because we found a good parking spot, right, like a block away
in the F section where you like to flip the bird.
Disregard that.
In the parking lot.
And then we got there like an hour and a half.
Yeah, something like that.
So
because I wanted to beat traffic. I didn't know if there would be construction or anything. You never know what you're going to run into in downtown Houston. So I asked, hey, let's leave a little early and we can just chill somewhere. And fortunately, we got very lucky in finding a parking space. And the Hard Rock Cafe was right next door to the venue.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not even crossing the sidewalk. You're turning right, and there's the building. So we got to go inside.
Food.
Yeah, got some food, saw a lot of wrestling fans, which was pretty cool to see. You walk in and you're like, okay,
talk to a few people.
Who else is here? Yeah, what's up, Ben? If you're listening to this, we certainly appreciate it. Also, the guys from Cult of Kayfabe, I believe they said they were going to download the show this week. So cool. Shout out to those guys as well if you're listening. If not, oh well. But yeah, we had a really good time chilling at Hard Rock Cafe. Big cast.
I didn't like what I said about Nikki and AJ. They already turned the show off.
Yeah, probably.
That's bullshit.
They're like, screw this guy, I'm out of here. But yeah, we finished up
at the bar. And we were sitting at the bar, and then Cass came in.
Yeah,
and then everyone flocked to him.
Yeah, which is kind of amazing to see.
At least you got the picture with him before he got out the door.
I think I was either dead last or second to last.
What was he
person.
Doing? He just went in there and looked around.
And he kind of just walked in. Like he walked up to like the little gift shop area, kind of looked around, and then people started to approach him. So we don't know what his intentions were when he originally walked in, but people started approaching him for pictures and all that. And so he was like, okay, well, I'm going to step back outside and
run.
Luckily, I was able to get a picture of him or with him before we got it. But we got to go inside the no longer Bayou Music Center. It's now the Reinvention Center, I believe. Yeah. Had a really
named 3 or 4
Verizon
times.
Wireless Center and Bayou Music Center and Reinvention Center. So we got inside and met another person who wanted to talk podcasting with us. The Evil Dr. Tran, I believe is what he's calling himself, and he's doing a podcast on pop culture. What was it called? I can't remember. Retro Cave. Yeah, the Retro Cave podcast. So he talks about pop culture and Mario and stuff like that. So
he also didn't like what I said about Nikki and AJ.
All these people that said they're gonna like our stuff, like, hey, guess what? Y'all are a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
No, not them, us. Not them. I'm just saying they're gonna say we're a bunch of assholes, and they're gonna unlike us. So
okay, well, Warp Cave, that's what it was.
Oh, I'm sorry,
man, you were way off.
What? I bet now I'm a dumbass.
Warp Cave podcast. So make sure to give it a like, give it a listen, and let them know that we sent you. And got to talk wrestling with him as well.
I feel bad.
And
sorry, man.
And one of our listeners, Chuck, walked up to us during intermission.
We met him at NWA.
At the Invasion.
Invasion.
Yeah. So said
he lived down the
Is
street.
he really a listener?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he listens to us.
You guys are really fucking defensive about that.
Oh yeah.
If you could have been in the studio and seen their faces, like, yeah, that motherfucker said he listened to our show.
He was in the upper deck, and I guess he saw us and walked down during the intermission to say, "Hey, man, thanks for posting the pictures like of NXT or getting ready for NXT because I didn't know that it was going on." So I went on to StubHub, printed out a ticket, and came down here. Because he lives in Houston.
Look, guys, I gotta be honest. I just find it a little bit weird when, whenever I'm not around and you guys are like, people come up to us and swear they listen to this fucking show.
Oh, I knew we should have taken pictures.
Never happened.
We should have taken pictures.
Pixar didn't happen.
Yeah. Wait, there was one picture. I know there is at least one, so I'll try I'll try and pull that up. But
take y'all's word on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it right here.
Yeah. Tyler's got it?
I don't have it. It's on Facebook, but
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's on Facebook. It does exist. So there is someone who took a picture with us.
yeah, right here.
So it was a really good time. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Let me see this guy.
Podcast section.
Confirm his being alive. All right, that's a guy taking a picture with you guys.
Yeah. A good time.
All right. Is he listened to the show before?
No.
No, that's
I see. That's not what I'm fucking talking about.
that's when we exchanged podcasts.
Yeah.
That's how you say, now how you say that. Yeah, we exchanged podcasts.
Yeah. We exchanged info.
That's it.
Yeah. So it was the Warp Cave podcast. Yeah.
I feel like a dumbass for saying the other
Retro
Cave. That's probably some other podcast.
Yeah, they just gained free plugs. Way to go. So Warp Cave podcast, and thanks to Chuck for coming down and saying hi. We appreciate it. He said he listens to the radio show, Sports Radio Beaumont. He listens.
he said he catches that more than podcasts.
Yeah, he listens to it while he's at work.
He's a firefighter.
Yes.
Wow.
So
Okay.
really cool stuff. So we appreciate everyone.
I guess I believe you guys.
Yeah.
These people exist.
You have to believe. So really good. Yeah, so we got to go see NXT, and
Another little thing too was there was a lot of people there, and it was a cool setting. But like in our section, there wasn't too many people on our row. I mean, not section. But
we had
our
some
row.
elbow room, thankfully.
Yeah, so that's good with elbow.
Because the chairs were insanely tight together.
Yeah, so that was also a plus too. And,
Yeah.
and I can stand up, and you're not that person who's blocking someone behind because there was. I mean, there wasn't too many people around, so.
Yeah. Got to see Steve DeMarco there.
Yeah.
Got to see Sign Guy. He was out there
He's
as well.
everywhere.
Yeah. I really don't know how he does it. But
because he won all that money on Deal or
no,
Nothing.
that would have been gone by now. There's no way.
Not necessarily.
No, it would have been gone by.
He probably invested it, maybe. I don't know. I'm just talking stuff.
Anywho, we got to see the competitors from NXT. Oh my God. Talk about, getting goosebumps from the reaction that Enzo and Kaz got. They kicked off the show. They kicked off NXT Live, and I tapped Tyler on the arm, and I was like, "Dude, look, I'm getting goosebumps from the reaction that they're getting."
Yeah.
Because it was just so energetic.
Electric.
Yeah, that too. You can't really put over how popular these guys are with the crowd. So
It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And they versed Jason Jordan and Chad Gable.
And man, those guys are some talented dudes.
Yeah.
They're they're looking like they're going to be the new Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. Like they've got their timing right. They've got their ring work is solid. These guys are going to be some pretty good guys to look at in the future.
It was a fun match and highly enjoyable. So
Yeah. We also got to see Bull Dempsey and who did he go up against?
Dillinger.
Ty Dillinger. Got to see them. Got to see Solomon Crow go up against Apollo Crews. Got to see Carmella going up against who did she face? Oh, Dana Brooke.
Dana Brooke.
Yeah. Blake and Murphy were in action. Against the Vaudevillains
for the titles.
Yeah.
Tag titles.
Yeah. And
it was Samoa Joe versus
Baron Corbin.
Mm-hmm. Bailey versus Emma.
Yeah.
And
Balor versus Breeze.
Yeah. So it was just cool all around and fun atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And
very intimate because the arena that they chose to have it in, it's not the biggest. It probably seats about 2,000 people or 3,000.
I love stuff like that. I love that, being a part of stuff like that.
So you have a good view.
Yeah.
Pretty much wherever you are. So it was a really good time. If they come to your town or your area, make sure you attend.
You got a shirt. I got a program, which was the program was really neat.
Yeah.
Just because it had like pretty much everybody that's in NXT, or I should say current now, and the people who were successful that made it into Raw, SmackDown and stuff like that. They showed like Big E and Seth Rollins when they won the title and stuff like that. So it was just a pretty cool book.
Yeah.
So
you also got your Connor's Cure bracelets there as well. So it was a really good time.
Really cool.
And then then Saturday, or I guess one thing that we could mention that was pretty cool on the way home was that we didn't have to pay for our parking.
Oh, yeah. That was another little thing, too, which was, all those little things, like, add up, and it's really cool, to be honest with you, because we're like, okay, so it's going to be, we were there over 3 hours, so it's over $15.
Yeah.
And then there was another event going on. People were dressed up. I don't know where they were going to, but people had suits and dresses on, and,
we picked the right exit.
Yeah.
And
I was
we
like,
didn't have to pay for it.
Yes. Hell yes.
So $15 saved in the pocket.
Yeah.
Really good time. Saturday, we got to go to WWE Live. Had a really good time there. Was fortunate enough to get to go backstage and meet the primetime players.
Underneath the stands?
Underneath the stands, that's right. I don't know. I know you were kind of disappointed.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, yes, I am, like, because this is my first meet and greet with WWE Superstar, so I was like, okay. I thought it was going to be a regular room, maybe a few guys in there and stuff. That's what I thought. And don't get me wrong, it was cool seeing the primetime players. I thought there was going to be a little more. Maybe I'm
more
greedy.
people.
Maybe I'm greedy. I don't know.
Yeah, from my experience of like meet and greets and stuff, Kelsey and I got to go backstage. I use air quotes for that, backstage, to meet Fall Out Boy a couple years ago, and it's so quick. It's one of those things where it's like you walk in there, hey, how you doing? Oh, nice to meet you. Okay, take a picture. Click. Okay, all right. Well, thanks for coming. Hope you have a great night, and that's it. So it,
you think it also
you hear backstage pass, and you're like, oh, dude, I'm gonna go and see the inner workings. They're gonna show me all this cool shit. They're gonna sign my autographs and pictures and
think about the inner workings. I just thought there was gonna be more people.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel bad saying that because they're like, you greedy bastard.
Yeah. You greedy bastard.
So, but I don't know. But no, the primetime players are really cool. I mean, it was quick, yes, but still cool.
Yeah.
Because I've never done that before. So
yeah, a really cool experience. They took a picture with us and autographed our tickets.
Darren talked to you for a little bit.
Yeah, asking about my NXT Houston shirt. So it was a really good time. And then the matches themselves were a lot of fun. My God, the woman who was sitting behind us
was a weird lady. She was cursing randomly and like what she was moaning during when John Cena came out.
Yes. I don't know.
She had an orgasm? What?
I don't know what her deal was.
Can you recreate that for me?
God, I can.
No, he did it.
I did it at Buffalo Wild Wings that night.
Do it.
Like, okay, well, I need time to set up because you heard.
Look, I'll be seeing it for you.
No. But no, this woman was either drunk on something or both because this woman was like completely out of her mind.
Good for her. Who cares?
But
I mean, if she was kind of a distracting.
It was very distracting.
Crowd,
I know when she was
shouting
cursing,
shouting observation for no reason.
Yeah,
that was
While there are children around.
All right, that's no good lady.
Yeah. And
are you prepared?
She wasn't exactly the most hygienic smelling person. But I mean, there was a point where her friends sitting next to her were talking with one another, and she was like, "Why the fuck are y'all talking about me?" They're like, "We're not talking about you. What is wrong with you?" And she lifted up her seat because they have the fold down seats. Mm-hmm. She lifted up the seat and sat on the floor.
Yeah,
this is a grown woman,
shit.
late 30s, 40s, somewhere around there. Doing this, so you're like, this woman has to be on something, she's out of her mind.
Like, I'm totally fine with her being on whatever she wants to be on. Just don't be such a distracting member of the crowd.
She was very distracting.
All right, we'll recreate this moment.
Okay, go ahead. No, you gotta do it.
I don't know if she had just run out of breath in doing it.
Well, what's your best guess? Was it like a exclamation point on seeing some hot wrestling action?
I don't know. But I
mean, John Cena's a good-looking dude. He's got a nice body. I get it. So, was it that, or was like I can't breathe?
I don't know. I was afraid to look back and see what she was doing.
Where's her hands?
You guys are like turning back. You guys built it up as like she was fucking.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
You recreate the moan, and I'll tell you if it sounds.
Okay, throughout the night, she's like, "Boo! Bullshit! Bullshit! Fucking bullshit!" I'm like, they're making their entrance. Like, what are you doing? So Okay, so John Cena's match comes up. I'm fast forwarding because you're pressing me on it. So I'm fast forwarding to it, and
I'll be the judge of this.
So the match is going on, and she sits there, and she'll just sit up and go, "John Cena, go John Cena, woo, woo, oh, 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 oh."
All right, so my interpretation.
Woo, John Cena, oh, oh.
Where'd her hands go?
I didn't look back.
My interpretation of that is it started as an out of breath from the scream and morphed into more of a sexual experience.
Yeah, like she was like, you know how some people like get off when choking.
Yeah,
and
those
all that?
people often die doing.
They do, but like maybe she was. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I'm like I said, I was
Didn't
afraid
like
to look
the
back.
Highlander guy die doing that?
Oh, I have no idea. But
One of those dudes died.
it was one of the craziest
Wow.
experiences of my life to sit in front of that person.
Or that's
One thing that did crack me up was the people who were sitting next to her. They were like, "I'm not fucking taking you anywhere ever again." And then, I brought my camera with me to take pictures because it's got that incredible
Took a
zoom
picture
on
of
it.
this lady?
No, I did not. I did not. But
Yeah,
funny
you did.
story, her friends sitting next to her, like one of them tapped me on the shoulder, and I was like, "Yes." And he was like, "Hey man, what kind of phone is that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's not a phone, it's a camera." "It's a what It was a what phone?" I was like, "No, it's like an actual camera." And it was like, "Oh shit, man, dude, that thing's got zoom." They're just like, "Yeah, it sure does. It's a camera, all right."
I swear you should have made up a phone name and told him that. Like, this is the so and so. Verizon has it.
It's Galactic Airwind or something. But yeah, very strange experience.
But yeah, it was the show. I mean, it was fun. They did something a little weird because they had two TVs, or what would you call it, Trons?
Yeah,
Well, there
the
weren't
little
that
miniature
big,
ones.
mini ones. When they played like a whole match on it, like before like the event started.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that. That was weird. But then the was it me, or was I thought that the volume the whole night was
Yeah, they were having
super
volume
loud.
issues.
It was like screeching like sometimes I'm like good Lord. I didn't hear that. I didn't get to hear that
God.
because that's when
Whenever she
down.
moved over and
Okay.
sat right behind me
Because I swear I
How
was
could it have been that big of a deal if Tyler didn't hear it?
because he was like 4 seats over.
I heard the cursing.
Why didn't y'all sit together?
No, we
Well,
did.
we did, but there was one seat between us. So it was Kelsey, me, Space, Daryl, Tyler.
Why didn't y'all left a space between you?
So we could have elbow room.
That's weird, guys. I'm gonna put that out there. That's a little weird. That's a little weird,
He's so
guys.
far away.
I know. Why didn't want to like
If I was there,
Scrunch
I
in
would have
Daryl.
said. If I was there, I would have plugged that hole.
absolutely would have.
Yeah.
That's
I would've
that's
said-
why we left it there. It was,
You would
it was
plug
that
our,
was your
You would
spot.
plug our hole.
Yeah. Plug our hole, Doug.
Like I haven't already.
Oh. I'm glad you got our back.
Yeah.
Or hole.
Our hole back.
Or hole back.
Our back hole. So yeah, so it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. Got to see Mark Henry, got to see The Miz, Lucha Dragons, The New Day, who were absolutely entertaining. Had a really good time watching them.
Kevin Owens.
Ryback,
John Cena, Seth Rollins, Big Show, Cesaro,
Big Show and Cesaro. Yeah, that was a strange match.
Natalia.
Natalia was there.
That was before she came back.
Yeah, so we got to see her return. Alicia Fox. Yeah, it was good. Got to see the Dudleys.
Sign guy again.
Sign guy again. Yes, the second night we got to see him. Second of 3 nights, so we got to see Sign guy.
Oh, that was another
at
thing.
an event.
He was sitting in the corner, sign guy, and it was close to the microphone. You could hear everything he said, and they never turned until the end.
Yeah.
They never turned the microphone off. I'm like,
Yeah,
ooh.
they got on to him once because he was talking to Big Show. He's like, "Yeah, you're a big piece of crap." And then they like walked over to him like, "Dude, you can't be saying that." He's like, "I can't say crap."
Hey, you know what? Like, we always talk about Xavier Woods every week on TV. How you can hear him. You know why? Because this is not. I didn't see the show you guys did, but at the
Night of
pay-per-view,
Champions.
he stands right next to the camera and does it. That's how you can hear him so clearly on TV.
Well, that and they've got his trombone mic'd up.
Yeah.
So everything that he's saying is going into that microphone
I
as
didn't
well.
know it was Mike.
But at Night of Champions, when he was doing his, like, I'm not going to stop yelling, he was doing it like the camera was here and he was like in the camera. Like,
Yeah.
Just to where he couldn't be seen.
No day, no day, no day.
That's how he comes across so clearly.
Mm-hmm. That was entertaining too. But we'll dive into the Night of Champions in just a little bit. But yeah, we had a great time at WWE Live. Very
Got out
interesting.
there pretty
story.
quickly too.
Yeah, we got out as soon
Beat the
as soon
traffic.
as the match ended. We left because
The match ended because Seth Rollins did a low blow on Cena, and
Yeah.
you know something was going to happen again.
Yeah.
You know, like Cena was going to give us revenge. Like, hey, the bell just rang. Let's go.
Yeah.
Or we
Gotta have-
beat the crowd. We did good. So
had a really good time.
because we saw what happened when we were walking out.
Oh, y'all
Yeah.
left early?
A little, not much, because we saw what happened at the end when John
Yeah,
Cena walked out.
as we were walking towards the doors, we were watching what was happening. So when his music hit for the yay, crowd goes home happy kind of stuff, we were exiting the doors. So not too bad.
I don't know if I like that, guys.
Oh, come on now. And then Sunday, so that was Saturday night. Sunday, we got up, drove to Houston, where we got to enjoy Ringside, a day with Jim Ross.
Gosh, that was a blast. That was so fun. Like, I didn't know what to expect, really. I know it's just he's going to talk, but, oh, man, it was so more than that. He just, like, so many stories, so many things that, he shared. There was questions. People, he said, I guess JR told that guy who was hosting to tell everyone no questions is, like there's
Nothing's
nothing
off
off limits. And, no one went really crazy with anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it was all good, and it was so fun and funny. I wish we can do it again.
Yeah. Doug, what was your take on the Ringside with JR?
Hang on.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out if it was the David Carradine is the erotic asphyxiation guy I was talking about. Was he in Highlander or only in Kung Fu?
I don't know if he was in Highlander. I know he was in Kill Bill.
Yeah, of course.
He died that way? Damn.
That's how he died. That's how that man went.
Damn.
Wow.
I mean, that's your thing. Handle your biz, but just be careful, guys.
Yeah.
That's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Once you start seeing spots, it's like, all right, I might want to.
Yeah, maybe
wanna tone out.
maybe have someone you can confide in to be there for you in case something crappy happens.
Yeah.
Just choke me out a little bit, but not that much. And I don't know. That's serious, though.
I mean, I'm not passing judgment. Like, if that's
Yeah.
your thing, do your thing. I'm
People
just
are
like,
into it.
Be fucking careful. That's dangerous.
Don't die.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So, rule number 1, don't die from this. So, all right. Well, what were your thoughts on Ringside with JR?
It was cool. It was a good time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's
Cool. Any further elaboration? Any favorite stories that he told or moments?
the bad thing is there's certain things there's a lot of things that stuck out, but I know I can't retell it that good,
Yeah.
Favorite story? Nah, I don't know if there was something I'd point out is that he's a little bit more. Not that I think he's like uptight or anything, but he was a little bit more candid than I expected him to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit more like not as like straight laced as you would expect him. He seems like I don't want to get the impression that I think he's like a tight ass or anything. It's just like he seems a little bit more like proper and straight laced than he comes across in the show. He's very loose and very, very sort of I don't know what the right word would be.
Open?
He's super candid. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's probably the best word. Yeah. He's
Very open about his
Sure.
past.
Yeah. It was cool.
The one thing I will say, because I remember this mostly, so I can re-say it, like I guess it was him and Ric Flair when they were working together and they were in a limo. He said it was a limo for 4 people.
Yeah.
It was him, Rick, and 2 ladies they picked up, and they were going somewhere. I don't know if it's the club or whatever, or the hotel. I really don't remember that part. But on their way, and he looked at the ladies, and they had like a weird look on their face, and they were kind of looking away and all that stuff. And he didn't think nothing of it. But he kept on getting nudged by Rick, and I think he didn't do nothing for a while.
Yeah.
He kept on nudging him, and he kept on seeing the ladies' like face just have like disgust and stuff. And I think he like really like nudged him in the ribs really hard, and he looked at him and looked down. And he's like, "Oh man!" And then Rick had his penis out, and I think he described it as a little kid's arm holding an apple, and I don't know. I just lost my shit whenever
I
he
like
said that.
saying penis.
Yeah, well, it's the proper term.
Yeah. We're going technical. Scientific term.
Clinical.
I thought he was surprisingly candid about, not that I thought he was some sane or anything, but he was sort of open about like drug use and partying and stuff,
Yeah.
which I thought was a little crazy. Not that he was some like horrible addict or anything. He just talked about like smoking pot and stuff, which is
I've got another
cares?
business meeting and it's gonna be late tonight.
It's just like whenever I pick like when I picture JR, I don't picture him like smoking pot and stuff.
Yeah.
But he was just pretty candid about all that shit, which is
Hooking up
kind of
with-
cool. Sort of
riding
made me-
with Flair, picking up chicks. Like,
Yeah, while he was married.
yeah, exactly. That was wife number 2.
Yeah, he was just super like sort of chill about everything.
So cool. Like,
And the Jim Cornette story.
oh my gosh.
I know that one.
I can't retell it because I remember there's certain parts I don't remember. Or I can't tell that well, but it was still pretty cool. When we first got there, we met him. I didn't have nothing to sign. We had our tickets, but we didn't know how it would work. He brought some pictures
Yeah.
of him and stuff, and he signed it, and he was talking to everyone. You know, I don't think he talked to you that
Not
much
really.
or whatever, but he did the same thing. So I threw something out there, and I was like, hey, so what's next on the tour? And you know, he says he's not going to continue it right now until football season is over, all the bowls or whatever done. And
Yeah.
so I was like, oh, that's cool. But he talked to Doug.
Yeah. Talked to you for a short while.
But
yeah, it was cool.
and then I know, was it in the middle of the show or before the show started? I don't know, but people were whispering like, "Oh, it's all Scott Hall." Scott
Yeah, it was
Hall.
right before.
And then, because I think I just got back from the restroom, and then before the Q&A, after he said all his stories before the Q&A, he goes, "Oh, I have a guest, yo, Chico, you want to come out?" And here comes Scott Hall, and everyone was like, "Woo!"
That was a really nice
It was really
surprise.
cool, and he's funny as hell too.
Yeah.
He started busted on the Young Bucks a little bit.
Yeah.
You
Man.
deadly do right, motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh, JR can do impressions too. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I was shocked he had some impressions. Who all did he do? He did Cornette.
Cornette,
He did.
Dusty.
He did Dusty. Did he do Nate? No, he didn't do like a thing. He did someone else too, though, right?
Was it Funk?
He did Funk. Yeah, I want to say he had someone else, though. I don't know.
You deadly do right, motherfucker.
Someone asked, yeah, that's the Jim Cornette one. But yeah, I think someone asked about Chael Sonnen using his gimmick and all that stuff, or Scott Hall and all that stuff. And he's like, yeah, I don't know where he saw him, what event they saw him. He took a picture of him. He's like, hey, can I do the NWO? And I don't know if he said that, but he said this to us. And he's like, yeah, you can do it, you mark. He called Chael Sonnen Mark.
Yo, Ginger.
He's hilarious. It was just awesome. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Really
so
fun.
if one of those shows comes somewhere nearby
see
you,
it. Go see it,
Whether
really.
it be Jim Ross, whether it be Mick Foley, any of those guys that are doing these now, it's a
Go
lot of
see it,
fun.
yeah.
And what was cool is that you knew what kind of crowd would be there. This is the Jim Ross fan.
Yeah.
You know? And so I was sitting there feeling like, to be honest, I felt like I was on a back porch or, back patio. Steaks are grilling, game is on.
The fans
we're just sitting
there.
there.
They were cool as hell. I mean,
Yeah.
they weren't saying stupid stuff. And
Yeah.
okay, a lot of stuff, stuff is not off limits. Some guy asked, is Vince McMahon evil?
Yeah.
And whoa, did you just say that?
Mm-hmm.
But,
And he answered it.
yeah, nothing. Someone asked about CM Punk.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a really good time. And like I said, it felt like we were all just a couple of dudes sharing stories and, having some drinks. And it was a really good time. And I'm really glad we got to go to that because it was,
for sure,
it was a lot of fun. So, highly recommended. WNS Podcast approved.
Yeah.
Like the thing that I would say that's pretty cool is, and I've never been to his traveling show, but he sort of geared it to be Houston wrestling centric.
Mm-hmm.
So he told a lot of stories that revolved around, like Mid-South and stuff like that actually ran Texas. He focused the stories around Texas wrestling, which was pretty cool.
Story about how Ted DiBiase was almost killed. And so really good stuff. And then after the show, we went back to the vehicle to put our autographed Jim Ross pictures back in the car and grab our tickets to walk on over to the
picked up
Toyota
something to
Center.
eat. Then
Yeah,
We were late we got in the middle of the
the kickoff match.
kickoff match.
Yeah, we walked in we walked into the Toyota Center as Neville's music was playing, and so we missed probably the first half of it. But I was totally fine with it because as we were walking up, we were watching the pre-show on the network on our phones, and when we got to the arena, there was absolutely zero line to get in.
Well, on that side.
On the side that we went in, there was zero line. So, it was really
the side
nice.
there was people. I think they had something going on because they had the weird ring outside.
That's where they were doing the pre-show. That's where Booker and all of them were. So they were having that outside. And it was pretty cool to see. But we took our seats, got to enjoy the kickoff match, which was the Cosmic Wasteland going up against Neville and the Lucha Dragons. We didn't get to see all of it, so it's kind of hard to judge. But Cosmic Wasteland does end up getting the victory. So that takes us into the actual pay-per-view itself. First matchup, Ryback versus Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Championship. And I tried to go back and watch it on the network so I could kind of get a feel for how the commentary was doing as well. I didn't get to finish it, but I enjoyed this matchup. I didn't get to see the raking of the eyes until I went back and rewatched it. But
I didn't see that either.
I thought this match went.
Yeah, I was trying my best because like we talked about before. If you go to an event, I don't look at the Tron that much. I try to look, at the ring, and we were at the top. So
Yeah.
there's certain little things that we may have missed.
I don't care if you look at the screen. That's just my rule for myself. To me, it's like if I gonna get the TV
I agree with
experience,
you.
I should have just stayed at home. You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I want to feel like you guys are fucking doing it wrong or whatever. Like, do whatever you want to do.
Marks.
Yeah. TV marks. But yeah, so Kevin Owens going up against Ryback. I felt like the match went better than I had expected it to be.
Was it better than the house show?
Yeah, I would say so. Because they did face each other at the WWE Live event. A lot of the matches were sort of, teasers to the Night of Champions. So they're sort of getting ready to roll out their spots. But Kevin Owens ends up getting the victory to become the new Intercontinental Champion. What did you guys think about the matchups?
I would have liked to have seen all the, and I don't know that it's necessarily possible, but I would like to have seen all the limb work pay off in the finish, which it really didn't. He just raked the eyes and rolled them up. But I thought it was fine. I think they are trying to keep Ryback to sub 10-minute matches, which is probably smart. But it was fine. It's cool to see the belt on Owens. I think you can essentially accomplish the same thing with Owens that you wanted to do with Daniel Bryan by giving him that belt. If you give him a decent enough run, I think he can restore some credibility, same way Cena's restored credibility to the U.S. title. So, it's cool. I think the right guy won. The match was fine, but I don't know. It sort of bugs me when you do so much limb work and it doesn't pay off in the finish, but it was fine.
One thing I am glad that we had was a good section. I know we've had problems in the past with shows that we went to where there's just that annoying group of people and they're just chanting whatever just to chant. And
Fun little fact, when we were standing in line for the JR thing, there was this guy right in front of us. And what's so funny is he was actually in front of us at Night of Champions. The row. I was like, what are the odds?
He was the person standing in front of us to meet JR, and then he was the person sitting directly in front of us for Night of Champions.
Which he cracked me up because he was
really into it.
Yeah, he was really into it. In Night of Champions, he brought a friend. And,
Who did not give a fuck.
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck. I felt, he just wanted to talk about it and just show him, hey, this is
here's the backstory.
So-and-so and all this stuff, and this friend didn't, give a shit.
It was just like, when you're excited about something, you're trying to get your buddy into it by explaining it to him and why it's cool and why it matters. And, his friend just couldn't be bothered.
But that lady next to him was talking to him.
I don't think they were together, but they should have went together.
Yeah.
They at least had a good time.
But he was pumped about it, and he got into it. If he didn't like this person, he's like, "Oh, this guy shouldn't be here," and and that did put a smile on my face. So.
And whenever
it made me laugh too
during the New Day match, whenever Xavier was getting the table, he's like, "Oh, I wish you'd bring that table," and you know exactly what's going to happen to you. So it was good to see. So I'm glad that we didn't have an obnoxious section, an obnoxious crowd. But yeah, so it was a good time, and Kevin Owens ended up becoming the new Intercontinental Champion.
To happen. And
so next up, we got to see Dolph Ziggler going up against Rusev, and the crowd was super hot for Ziggler. Yeah, that's the hard thing. Like I was trying to remember parts of the match, and it was just I don't know. But a lot of people were saying that the match came off really well. It looked really good. I don't know. What about you, Doug?
I honestly don't know if I have anything to any real takeaway from the match.
Yeah. I mean, the ending came with Summer Rae throwing her shoe in disgust after she had been thrown out,
right?
And ends up hitting Rusev. Which
was that was the one where she was on the edge or whatever, and she kind of flipped into the ring.
Yeah,
and he threw her out, but that was no reason to throw her out. She was just there, and she got flipped into the ring.
Right.
Well, she was trying to assert herself in the match.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't feel like it came off that way. She was just right there. I know she was getting attention, but she didn't do nothing.
Mm-hmm. But she throws her shoe one way and grabs another shoe and I guess tries to throw it at the ref and ends up hitting Rusev instead. Zigzag. 1, 2, 3. And Ziggler ends up getting the victory.
And then all that stuff is it's just weird.
Still going.
He had Lana's face on his crotch.
Yeah, that was kind of strange.
On the tights.
What's all recruiting?
Check out my girlfriend's face.
This is where it is.
This is where it is.
Yeah. Look where your ex-girlfriend's face is. Yeah, that's right. After that, we got to see the Dudley Boys going up against the New Day. Okay.
I left you hanging.
You did. You left me hanging. New Day came out first and cut a promo about how they're doing.
I missed all of that shit because the line was so long for food, and I wanted some more food, and it lasted like a match and a half, so I missed all of that shit.
Yep, you missed it all. But it's okay. You can go back and rewatch it on the network
for $9.99.
Well, I don't. Sure, why not?
I'm just promoting it.
Yeah. I haven't gotten any money for you for paying for that, for access. Anyways. What? So New Day cuts a promo. They're doing a Save the Tables movement. And they've got endorsements from Bill Nye, the science guy, and Jake from State Farm, and President Obama.
Jake
and
from State Farm.
Yeah. Like a good table, New Day is there.
Is that what they said?
That's what they said. Doug, what do you think about this?
I mean, they were entertaining just like they are every fucking week. I mean, you mean specifically the
promo? Yeah, you can do the promo.
I like that. I like that they knew that to throw Obama in there because they're in Texas, which is a notorious fucking red state. They were like, yeah, we got Obama to sign. The crowd was just fucking booing Obama. I was like, classic, dude.
Classic.
Trolling with Obama.
Going back to the house show, sorry, but whenever they came out, New Day's what did they say? Beaumont.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Beaumont.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, did he say PA? And it was like Beaumont or something like that. Like he completely butchered the name, but it was still pretty funny. But yeah, the Dudley Boys came out to face the New Day for the Tag Team Championship. And I don't know, what did you think about this matchup, Doug? I know Tyler was unable to catch it, but what did you think?
I thought it was fine. It was kind of, I don't know. It seemed like standard fare from these guys, and I felt like the payoff. It seems like they're building to the fucking. They did it once with Xavier. I know the first night, but it's since they started the whole we're gonna save the tables. So I felt like them going through the table is the payoff, and they shouldn't have gone through a table until they were ready to go over again. You know what I mean? That's the end of the feud. From the first time until they finally blow off the feud, the whole because you lose the heat if they they're doing this whole save the tables thing, but they're getting put through the tables. It's not, you know what I mean?
And the contradictory of them getting the tables themselves to try and, which I know is a heel tactic. We say one thing, but we do the opposite.
I'm fine with them getting the tables. I just thought they shouldn't have gone through the table.
Yeah.
And I know that's a way to keep the Dudleys strong because they lost. I mean, they won the DQ.
Right.
So it's a way to pop the crowd for the Dudleys without having to make them win the match because they shouldn't win at this point yet. I think you can accomplish that in a different way because I still think the table thing is the payoff spot. At the
Right.
end.
Well, they did the exact same spot at WWE Live minus the trombone.
Well, I think the house
Where,
shows are different because that's like non-canonical.
Right. It was just one of those things where it's like, okay, so they were preparing for that.
Yeah, like the house show runs like leading up to pay-per-views. A lot of the guys are like working out their spots for the pay-per-view and stuff.
That's in a few matches on this pay-per-view. They did the same stuff.
Yeah, where Xavier got the table, brought it up in the ring as Big E and Kofi are beating down the Dudley Boys, and then they fight back and end up putting Xavier through the table. Same exact spot. But it was still entertaining to see. I saw a comment about the pay-per-view that said it was a solid pay-per-view, but there was nothing memorable from it.
It's a B show.
Yeah.
It's not a big four.
It was one of those. All the matches were fine, but there was nothing really. Oh, did you see that? Oh my goodness! Oh wow, kind of stuff like a replayability. Like how many people are going to go back and rewatch Night of Champions? So
it's a B show though. I mean, it's not a name pay-per-view. I mean, it's a name pay-per-view because it has a name, but I mean, it's not like it's not an A show for sure.
It's not your WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, Money in the Bank.
That doesn't mean that they should not try, but I mean, like,
Mm-hmm. But the Dudley Boys do get the victory via disqualification, so New Day does retain, and then the Dudley Boys decide to put Xavier Woods through the table.
I just think that's the wrong time for that.
Yeah. Have it come a later day.
That's when they win the titles. Like if
they win the titles,
they put them through the fucking tables.
Or would that be they retain the titles and putting Xavier through the table is the exclamation point?
I mean, I think you can do it on the win.
Yeah.
I think I don't think it comes before that.
I think
because that's the cathartic like moment where they won the titles. They put them through the fucking tables. They shut their mouths. You know, like it's like that. It's like the exclamation point on the end of the feud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a hard time remembering this, but like when the Dudleys were in WWE, like before they left and all that stuff, did they always put people through tables like constantly? Because they seem like every Raw or whatever since they've been back
fairly constant.
Tables.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Like I remember they did tables like every now and then, but I guess my memory.
Yeah, it might not have been as frequent, but that's what a lot of fans remember them for, and so they're coming out saying this is what we're going to do.
They're doing a nostalgia thing.
Yeah. So after that, we got to see Charlotte going up against Nikki Bella for the Divas Championship. They did a lot of limb work in this matchup on Charlotte's leg. Yeah. I mean, from the very get-go, it was Charlotte's leg and selling the injury, and that was how she was going to overcome the odds and get the win. One of the things I would have liked to have seen, which I don't recall if it happened or not because, I didn't get to rewatch the match, but I would have liked to have seen her, she was struggling with her leg throughout the whole match, try and put her in the figure eight, and like her leg give out or something.
That's what she should have done, but I don't know.
I thought the match was solid because it seemed like they're like, okay, girls, we're going to tell a very simple story. It's going to revolve all the way around limb work, which I think is fine. I think that's a good story to tell for a heel with the babyface working underneath and sort of trying to garner like support from the crowd and whatnot. And I'm even fine with the match being like 95% offense for the heel with like limb work, but I have a problem buying into if you use your leg for your finisher and then like the whole thing was limb work, then I need a little bit more than just the spear and then the figure eight to buy the finish, because she needs her leg for the figure eight. So like it needs a little, like you were saying, you would like to see it give out. I need a little bit more. I would have been even fine if she would have won like off the spear instead of the figure eight, but it was fine. It seemed like they specifically told them like, hey, if you guys are having problems like putting your spots together and shit, we're gonna tell like really basic stories. And, like, that's what you're not gonna fuck this up, so that's what you're gonna do, whatever. So I don't know. Yeah,
I would have liked to have seen her attempt it and be like, oh god, my leg is like killing me, and then whenever she puts it on for the finish, she's sitting there just, god, it hurts so bad, but she knows that she might not get another opportunity to put her in it, so she's going to hold it, in which case Nikki Bella taps out.
Sure.
I think that would have told, an even greater story. But But Charlotte does end up defeating Nikki via submission to become the new Divas.
Satellite.
No, to become the new Divas champion. And Ric Flair was there to celebrate. And
I'm sorry, like I couldn't help it when I saw Ric Flair. All I could think is about that JR story about his dick, and it's like in my head, and I'm like,
see, you went for the dirty mind. Mine was more of a, oh my god, he's got to feel so proud. Like the emotion got to me.
I did a stupid joke. I was like, what if Charlotte's just like Rick? What if she gets in a limo with her girls? There's two guys, and she's showing her tits. I don't know. I know. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, you should apologize for that. Shame on you.
I think they're relying a little bit too heavily on the Flair thing.
Yeah.
Especially if this is supposed to be some sort of pat yourselves on the back revolution deal, then let it be about the women,
Yeah.
I know Flair's there for the rub, and they sort of built her debut and rise around being Flair's daughter, but
which is funny because in NXT
it was the
complete opposite.
Right.
Don't let my name fool you.
Right.
I'm here to make a name for myself.
Right.
So
he's here to kick ass.
And then it's like, no, we're gonna tie you to your dad, and that's just gonna be that.
Right.
So but yeah, I mean to see Ric Flair cry and be so happy, I'll admit I got a little emotional about that. It was a touching moment. But a lot of people were paying attention to Paige on how she wasn't exactly jumping for joy, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on as we dive on into Raw.
I didn't notice that.
I did, and I thought at the time was she just shoot not into this, or was she shoot just that she's not the one that's going to do it? I thought it was weird at the time, but then if we flash forward to Raw, it's really good character work on her part to sort of telegraph that back then.
And the fact one thing that I did notice,
maybe commentary put it over, but we didn't hear commentary.
Yeah, we didn't hear commentary, and I have yet to go back and rewatch.
So don't be like,
match.
oh, they fucking pointed it out. We didn't fucking hear it. We're in the building.
Sometime during the matchup, and I don't know if the cameras ever caught it, but Paige turned around to the crowd and was like, "Me? Are you cheering for me? Oh, let me, hand to the ear. Oh, let me hear it." And then she'd, put her hands out. Yeah, come on, let's hear it.
Right.
And then she'd look back at Charlotte and be like, oh, okay. Oh, wait, you are cheering for me again? You are cheering for me? Oh, let me hear it, And so the fans started cheering for her. And so, it was kind of one of those subtle, what is she doing? She's not focusing on her partner. She's not saying, hey, cheer for Charlotte. She's like, oh, you are cheering for me.
See, this is a weird thing because were we at home watching on TV,
we might not have caught that.
Commentary could have been really ham-fisted about it and beating people over the head with what is Paige doing? But in the building we didn't hear that, and we're just why is she acting weird? So that's why I thought it was good character work on her part.
Yeah, very good. So I'm curious as to how the commentary played out on that one. But after that, we got to see the Wyatt family going up against Reigns and Ambrose and their
the mystery guy
partner
with the vest.
No, not him, because he's going to jail.
They showed him on TV.
Yeah,
I saw a picture of him.
Very brief. It was very brief.
They dogpiled on him.
Oh yeah, he got in the ring, and it was enough to where the cameras panned on him. And then the security took him down, and then
it was hilarious because
Wyatt
was laughing about it.
Yeah, he was like, "Is that your guy?" And then Ambrose was like, "He's not with us."
Yeah, Ambrose was like, "Yeah, he's not with us."
So that was a pretty funny moment. But don't jump the barricades, guys. Come on now, kayfabe news.
Whoever the dude was in the suit, really did a great job because you probably didn't notice watching at home on TV or the network or whatever, but the guy was in the ring for a second before they caught him, but that's because it took the guy in the suit a second or two to get to the ring. But when he
realized what was going on and immediately acted.
By the time I realized what was going on, he had already had him down. But what you don't realize is when they were shooting when they were shooting them in the ring, he was laying on top of him in the ring the whole fucking time. The camera crew just as he tackled him, the camera crew just shot over his body leg on the ground. It was just he wasn't there anymore, but they had him pinned to the ground under the camera or whatever.
What if it was one of those days where it's there's like no lawsuits and like, hey, is that a mark? And they like just beat up on them.
Well, see, like the thing is, like I guess I'm just easily distracted about things, and so
Me
like
too.
I'm constantly watching the crew at the stage who's like setting up the pyro. I'm watching the stage hands like feed the wire, like the cable to the camera guys, and then pull it back whenever they start walking backwards so they don't trip. So as soon as he hopped the barricade, I noticed him. I watched him go up the stairs into the ring and stand right behind him. I was like, who the hell is this guy? And then I saw security jump in and tackle him. So for me, I got to watch the whole thing unveil.
See, I don't know. I didn't see any of it. I think you said whatever you said, and I was like, huh? And then what I saw was the guy in the suit tackle the guy who was in the ring. That was like it. And just like pin him down on the ground.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was not the third member, but it was in fact Chris Jericho.
I thought it was a little weird.
Yeah, it was definitely a strange.
But I couldn't have guessed who it was, though, to be honest.
Yeah, there were names speculating all over the place as to who it was going to be, but it turned out to be Chris Jericho. And I know they have their history, or he has history with the Wyatt family, or at least Bray Wyatt. But I don't know. I don't know how. I didn't really like the pick. The crowd went absolutely nuts for him. I mean, they went ballistic.
Here's the thing: it's the law of diminishing returns with Jericho. He is that spot so frequently for them.
Yeah.
That it might pop a house like I mean, not like a draw, but I mean it may pop like the crowd there, but ultimately people feel unsatisfied with it just because he returns so many times that like you're just used to him being the returning guy.
Yeah.
So
It was like, oh,
it was cool to see him, but I was like, yeah, everyone's cheering. I'm like, that's cool. I mean, he's there, but I'm not like, yeah.
I didn't have a problem with him like being the guy. I mean, he was fine in the match, and I thought he was actively good in the match. Actually, I thought the match was pretty fun. I thought Strowman like seems to be improving, and he worked an unusually like long for like the greenest guy in the ring.
Yeah.
He worked an unusually like long amount of the match. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're giving him some time.
They're making him look good. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And like even whenever Jericho's music hit, I turned to you, Tyler, and I was like, I don't get it, but I'm okay with it. You know. So I don't know. I felt like it could have been a good chance to introduce someone new, but whatever. I mean, like Doug said, the match itself was a lot of fun. It was fun to watch. The Wyatt family does end up getting the victory. So yeah.
I think the most baffling part of it is why use that spot for him if you're not going to have him on TV going forward. And I know he sort of comes in and out while he does his other projects, but if he's not, I don't know why he's the mystery guest if he's not just going to like work a program with someone before he leaves.
Yeah.
That seems a little odd. I don't know.
And, you know, it looked like Reigns and Ambrose were going to turn on him. Like they were going to turn heel and just like start beating the hell out of him.
Well, like Roman had the match won and Jericho blind tagged himself in, and then Jericho was just sort of like, ha, I got this, and Roman was like, what the fuck? I mean, but he was like, okay, whatever, and he just got out. And then Jericho blew the fucking match for them.
Yeah.
And then he sort of acted like, oh man, I fucked up, and they looked like they were gonna be like beat the shit out of him for fucking up the match.
Yeah.
But then he like flipped it on them and gave
like, nah,
Ambrose
screw
the
you
shoulder
guys.
block. Yeah, on the way out.
I'm out of here.
So it was so weird. Like they flipped it twice, like within the span of I don't know.
Just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it was weird.
Screw you guys and get him. So really interesting stuff. But after that, we got to see the double duty for Seth Rollins. First matchup, John Cena versus Seth Rollins for the United States Championship. And this matchup was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this matchup. I'm curious as to how it came across on commentary and on TV, but it was a lot of fun to watch live. How about you guys? What do you think?
Again, I forget. I don't hear what match we're in.
Seth Rollins and John Cena, U.S. title.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of their like previous matches to me. It seemed like they did a lot of the same stuff. Not that that's necessarily bad, but it felt like just too samey for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's problematic altogether for Rollins to be in a position where he has to work two matches back to back because it puts him in the position of being sympathetic and sort of having to overcome some sort of odds.
Yeah.
And that's like magnified when you have Cena giving him his finish to lay him out. Even though he was trying to escape, Cena like laid him out with the AA before the Sting match. That's even like more of a I have to come from behind thing to win, which he does, which makes him sort of like a fighting, fiery underdog kind of a thing, which is not how you want to, in my opinion, not how, to be honest, not in anybody's opinion is making any fucking sense, would want to portray their heel, like especially their top heel at the moment, like as the underdog fighting against the odds. That's the exact opposite of what you want. But so I don't know why. And I get that the title, I think, like hindsight's 2020, so it's easy to say this, but it's sort of logic would say that, like, well, he would lose a second match because he would be so worn out from like the first match. That would be the match he's more likely to lose.
Right.
But I mean, I guess you can't really do it that way. But that just seems like all the more reason to split the matches up or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was kind of interested to see that they went with the card placement that they did.
Yeah, I guess in a way it's sort of saying we present to you Seth Rollins, our main eventer. He's here for this whole fucking block of time, but it sort of works against his character.
Right.
So it's sort of like a catch-22. I don't know.
Yeah. And, like you said, for John Cena after the match, which John Cena ended up getting the win and becoming the new United States champion, after the match, he delivered an AA to Seth Rollins onto the hard mats on the outside of the ring. So it's like, dude, add insult to injury. But, and that brought out Sting to start Rollins' second matchup. And, they had some big spots with Sting going through the Spanish announce table.
With the monitors still.
With the monitors in there.
Do you think that could have played into his injury? Because they didn't take the fucking monitors out of the table.
Yeah.
He bumped on those. I mean, I didn't have the best view, but he could have nicked himself on those monitors.
That could have definitely been a serious injury. Thankfully, it was not.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as they hit that buckle bomb where he threw him into the corner, and you just saw.
He crumpled.
He crumpled. Like he was supposed to, I guess, bounce off and do a clothesline or do something, but Rollins mistimed it. Sting.
I saw a GIF. Rollins didn't mistime it. Sting took the bump in the corner, come out like he was going to fire out, and then he leans forward and crumples face first into the ropes on the ropes, and Rollins was set up to do whatever, and then he backs off because he sees that he's fucking crumpling.
Yeah.
So he's giving him space so that he doesn't add to the injury. So Rollins didn't fuck up. I saw it in a GIF in slow-mo. Rollins sees what happens and gives him space to recover from whatever happened.
Yeah.
Also,
just adding impact
after the refs and everyone checks Sting or whatever. I know this move happened afterwards, and I don't know if it hit his shoulder or his neck. But you know how they try to pull, they get the legs and pulls him up. He kind of gets up from it or whatever. He's on the ground. He tries to.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Does that little weird flip or whatever, and does the enziguri.
Yeah.
Did that hit him in the neck or the shoulder? I would think shoulder. But that was when he was doing his. That's when he, Sting was.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, it was definitely a scary moment because it completely stopped the match.
I thought it was his back too.
Yeah.
And then he did that roll up.
Yeah.
At the end, I was like, he was folding. I was like, oh, because when he did the scorpion, was it Deathlock? Or
yeah.
whatever
I thought it was a back.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Because he was leaning. I thought, oh my God, he's pulled something in his back, or he's torn a disc in his back, because I felt that pain, and that is some of the worst pain imaginable whenever you tear a disc.
What sort of sucks is that he was working really hard, taking ridiculous bumps for a man his age on fucking monitors that they didn't clear out of
jumping
the
off the
table.
top rope.
Sure. He clearly went out with the mentality of, yes, I'm fucking 50 years old, 50 whatever, and yes, this is my second match in this fucking company, but I'm here to prove that I can main event a WWE show.
Yeah.
He was clearly there with that mindset, and he just had the fucking bad luck of shit happening. I don't know. So I felt bad for the guy, honestly.
Yeah, and after the matchup, the referees come rushing out to make sure that he's okay, and trainers are walking him back and everything.
They clearly went right to the finish after they established that it was a serious injury.
He's like, okay, I can finish this, but we need to wrap it up. Yeah. So it ended with Shane Rollins getting the victory. Unfortunately, coming up short for Sting. but to retain the WWE Championship. And then we weren't done then, because as Rollins was trying to celebrate and recuperate, Sheamus came out to tease a cash-in and delivered a bro kick. And then returning Kane showed up.
All this stuff happened so fast, and I know it sounds bad, but I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. Like, I felt Sting's pain, and like, there was something in my heart, and I was like, shit, man. It's like, I wanted Sting to have the title.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is, second time something. I don't know. I felt like he should eventually get the title. But, and then the stuff with Sheamus, and then Kane, and I was like, yeah. I was kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I know we sort of talked, like on the radio show this week, which we obviously have already recorded it because we're referencing it, but we sort of talked about the Sting's injury and them being hesitant to use him going forward in the future. Even if he wasn't injured, and I don't know, just with the finish of him losing again, like, what do you do with this guy if you just bring him in a job differently?
Yeah.
I
Like,
don't know.
how credible is he now?
Yeah, I mean, I get that he's like a legend or whatever, but like, what has he done recently to like have any clout like currently in
The
the
stuff,
product?
okay, when you had that feud with Triple H and all that stuff, and he came back to go against Rollins, but he also put over Triple H. That was weird.
Yeah.
And then this stuff happens, and I don't know. It's all weird to me, man. Strange.
Very strange.
It
But,
sucks, but what can you do?
Yeah. But Sheamus came in to tease a cash in. Kane reappeared as the demon and chokeslammed Rollins and took out Sheamus as well. And that's pretty much how the pay-per-view ended. At least it went off the air. After it went off the air, Rollins grabbed the microphone and was like, and still, your world heavyweight champion, Seth Rollins. I'm the greatest of all time. As he walked all the way back up the ramp, and no one's going to take this from me. And
I'm never going to give you up.
yeah, never going to let you down.
Never going to run around and desert you.
Yeah. So, all in all, thoughts on Night of Champions?
I thought it was like a solid B show.
Yeah.
It was fun to be there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I know we did chuckle a bit at the whiff from Ziggler.
Oh yeah, he
think.
missed by a mile. Fucking super kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all in all, it was a good time. So yeah.
I wish Rusev wouldn't have sold it. He should have just been like, yeah, nah, you fucking missed, bro.
Yeah, come at me again.
Do it again and do it right. So yeah. So
The thing to learn here from the pay-per-view is don't stand in line to get food.
yeah.
Get well, I thought, oh, man, it sucked. I missed a match and a
I
half.
only encouraged you because I didn't want to be the one to have to get up and get my own.
I wanted something. I just wanted
And I
something.
encouraged you so that you'd stop going, man, I'm hungry. God, I'm so hungry. I wish I had a pretzel right now. Man, I'm hungry. God, I,
was
need
like,
some
yeah,
food.
go get that fucking pretzel.
Go get some food, Tyler. Go. Get out.
get
Go.
going while you're up.
Go on. Go on, get.
Shit.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's talk about Raw. I unfortunately was unable to catch it because satellite is out in my
I
house, and
caught,
apparently
like,
it
an
will be
hour of
for
it.
another week. Lovely. So Tyler caught an hour of it. Doug, did you get to catch it?
Yeah, I watched the show
All right.
because
Watch the show for us to talk about.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
So we kick things off with the Wyatt family coming out.
Oh, they started it. Wow. Huh?
Yeah, and it
No
was
authority stuff, huh?
from my understanding, it was
no
actually
promo. They went well. That's misleading. They sort of went straight to the action. Like there was like a short promo from the Wyatts, sort of. I mean, we're talking 2-3 minutes, and then Roman's like answers the call immediately, and he's just sort of like,
Let's just fight.
Let's just fucking fight. And
we don't need a ref. Let's just fight.
yeah, and so they just like got
Yeah,
into a
beat
brawl.
your ass,
It was
bitch.
sort of like the most straight to action we've had in a while. From like, they basically mixed up the format a little bit, which
Thank
felt
God.
like they needed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've needed to do that for a long time. So yeah. So
I actually thought Roman came across really well in this opening promo. He's a lot better when he's not so scripted. He's been better for a while. I think he's still sort of getting backlash from what was in the past. Like people just aren't going to allow him to turn around for them. You know what I mean? But I think if you're paying attention, he's obviously improving. He's obviously getting a lot better.
and from my understanding, the crowd was pretty hot for him too. Were they chanting Roman Reigns and all that?
Maybe so, but I don't know. I didn't feel like, you know what I found really interesting, and it's not a surprise to me because obviously he's a good-looking guy, but the pop he got in the fucking Toyota Center, his Toyota Center pop is very much a Cena pop. It's you hear the women when Roman comes out, you hear the kids, and you hear the women. So it's very much a Cena like pop. Yeah. I mean, and obviously he's a good-looking dude, so of course the women are going to be into him. I mean, like the girl who was sitting directly in front, like the girl who sat directly to my left and the girl who sat directly in front of me were both like fucking into it. They were like, when Roman came out, they were like, fuck yeah, Roman Reigns.
It is the best.
I mean, they weren't like the moaning lady at the show y'all went to, but they were like very much into this guy.
Yeah. So the Wyatt family and Reigns and Ambrose start brawling, and then
Ambrose comes out to make the save. Wyatt still managed to gain the upper hand, and Orton comes out to sort of And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Wyatts still walked out on top. Might be mistaken about that.
Yeah. And then they cut a promo later on that night, and I saw where like Braun Strowman said something like, or Harper was like, I hear voices too, and then Strowman was like, I caught a snake one day, and then I skinned it, drank its blood, and it's in a better place now.
And he said it like, that sounds like a corny line, but the weird face he made when he delivered it was like made it seem a little creepy. I mean, he's awesome. Still. God, I said Booger last time, but what's the guy from Revenge of the Nerds? Ogre. He did like almost like Ogre, like
that's awesome,
like crazy face when he said it. And I was like, oh god,
Ogre! I'll fucking kill all of you. So yeah. So after that, we got to see Rollins going backstage into the authorities' office, and he ran into Corporate Kane, who's like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. What's going on?"
He was throughout the night, or what I saw, Kane was just overly happy.
Well, he was doing the I'm not acknowledging the quote unquote Kane's back. He's basically doing a far more inferior job of the Joseph Park angle, which Joseph Park played it about 1,000,000 times better than Kane did. And I mean, it's not like apples to apples exactly the same thing, but it's basically the same angle, and Joseph Park was 1,000,000 times better. And think about how sort of lame something has to be when you're putting over TNA angles as like superior versions of the angle.
Yeah. So
and I say that actually that's not actually that big of a slight, because the Joseph Park thing is one of my all-time favorite things that TNA's ever done. So.
Yeah, I was checking the Twitter and stuff like that to see some of the updates and the outcomes and stuff, and people were posting videos of the interactions. I was like, good lord, that's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, this is Abyss and Joseph Park.
Yeah, except not as good.
Not as good. But,
and I liked it because also Joseph Park didn't know how to wrestle.
Yeah, he also like fucked up all the insider terms and stuff. Yeah. He would say Meltzer's name wrong, and he would say like kayfabe instead of like kayfabe and stuff. Like, I don't know.
Wow. So after that, we got to see the Lucha Dragons team up with Neville to go up against the Cosmic Wasteland, with Lucha Dragons and Neville getting the victory,
getting their win
back. It's why nobody gets over, because you're booking 50-50. Like, these guys win one night, the opponents win the next night. Nobody ever gets over because they're always trading wins back and forth.
And now we got to think of something new for you to do. So,
they're not going to do anything new. They're going to keep trading wins for the next
Let's have a gimmick match at a pay-per-view.
Yep. Tables.
Hey, do you think that the Dudley's New Day is going to go all the way to TLC for a tables match, or you think they're going to blow it off sooner with a tables match? Because it feels like if you're going to do the fucking tables match, wait till TLC.
It has to be a TLC, right. Yeah.
Knowing WWE, I think they're going to do it at a different time.
Hell in a Cell. You think you're going to blow it off?
It's going to be a Hell in a Cell tables match. My God.
Do you think they
went through the cell, through the table, and into the ring?
I have confidence that New Day can keep it interesting until December. But
Absolutely.
Do you think that they're going to go until December?
Nope. No confidence.
This is done in Hell in a Cell?
I have no confidence in the booking. I have all the confidence in the world in the Dudleys and New Day for making it happen. No confidence in the bookers.
All right.
But I do have confidence in Booker.
Booker T, yes.
Booker T.
Yeah. After that, we got to see a quick matchup between Ryback and Bo Dallas.
Was he
Ryback getting the
changed?
victory.
Bo Dallas?
No,
You're still okay.
Still being the same.
Believer.
And apparently Kevin Owens was on commentary during this, and shortly after the match, Kevin Owens attacked Ryback.
Yep.
But then I believe Ryback got the upper hand, and then Owens bolted.
Yeah. Did he get him out for the shell shock and then he got out again? I don't remember.
You raked the eyes. Oh, God.
I don't know if it was.
I just want that stuff to be done between Owens and Ryback.
Mm-hmm. But after that, we got to see the celebration for Charlotte being the new Divas champion, and Ric Flair brought her out, and she was accompanied by Paige and Becky Lynch. And
You were about to say Sasha.
I was about to say Sasha, but I stopped myself from saying Sasha. But yeah, what do you think about this segment, Doug? Because Paige ended up turning on her sisters.
Oh my gosh.
Submission sisters.
She was shitting on everybody. Paige is much more of a natural heel than she is a babyface. She seems kind of like a lame duck as a babyface. Like she's like faking the niceness or whatever. So she's a much better heel. I thought the promo was fine. I know people like lost their shit.
Oh my God, it's a pipe bomb.
She was shooting on everybody.
Which she was. Well, it's scripted shoot.
Well, see, the reality is that the WWE said, "Hey, all that like fucking Revolution bullshit we tried to sell you, we're gonna like backstep on it all and just like."
And Paige is the one is going to be our mouthpiece for it.
Yeah. So we're basically shooting holes in all that bullshit we tried to sell you. But let's fucking be honest, guys. Should have been Sasha, right?
Yeah.
Come on, it should have been Sasha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Paige. Again, I think she's a more natural heel. And do you think that they're gonna turn Sasha babyface? Why else would they? She's the best heel they have as far as the women go. Why not just let her do it? Do you think that's an odd choice?
I don't think they're going to change Sasha into a face just because I know it's weird turning Paige into a heel, but they've done heel stuff before.
Well, I get that they need to blow up the teams to fully form the division again, so maybe that's why they did it. But couldn't you have come up with another way to do that? And then, I don't know. It just seems strange to me that why they want to put like she's of all the women, she's the one that every time the women come out there, the people say we want Sasha. So why are you fucking putting her on ice? Well, why don't you let her fucking go while she's hot?
Mm-hmm.
Don't cool her down. Fucking the people want her. Fucking put her out there, and you can still have her in the heel roller. That's where she excels anyway.
For whatever reason, they've had a history of doing stuff like that.
They have a history
Don't
of
put
a lot
the
of
fucking
shit.
the hot act they want to put on fucking ice. Like, let's
Whether
let's
it
put
be
them on the back
Daniel,
burner.
whether it be Daniel Bryan, whether it be Zack Ryder from a couple years ago, and all of these little instances where they're just like, no, we're gonna do things our way, and then once the crowd goes completely berserk, they're like, oh, okay, well, we didn't know you wanted this, so here you go.
Oh my gosh.
Or the alternative to that is the crowd doesn't give a fuck anymore, and that's when you try to give it to them, and then you say, oh well, look, they really weren't that ever, guys. Well, they lost faith in them because you never gave them a reason to believe in them.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Look, I have no beef with Paige, but I don't know why it isn't fucking Sasha.
Mm-hmm.
She's a better wrestler. She's a better character. She's the better heel. You can keep Charlotte as the baby face you wanted the division and have Sasha be the heel of the division that you like, the top heel of the division.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Whatever. But Charlotte ends up going to face Brie Bella after that. And
it's another like very limb work heavy match. It's like they set people down who weren't like Becky and Sasha and said, hey, if you guys can't fucking string some spots together, you're gonna do fucking limb work.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, it's basically what they said.
So but Charlotte ends up getting the victory, which brings us into the next matchup. Sheamus going up against Mark Henry, our guest a little bit later on the show. Unfortunately, Mark came up a little bit short. Sheamus got the win.
I know that they're trying to pump up Sheamus because he's the Money in the Bank winner, but I wanted Henry to win.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah, it was not very long, so it's hard to get invested. But for what it was two big dudes who have no problem hitting each other hard, and like, what's not to like about that?
He blocked his stuff. He blocked Sheamus' stuff at the times. It was cool. But
It took 2 bro kicks to put him down.
Well, he sort of fucked up the first one.
Yeah.
It was like, and the commentary called it as a glancing blow, and he was like,
Oh, I didn't get all of it.
and then they're like, okay, that was what Ziggler should have done instead of Rusev just selling the fucking phantom kick that he got. Like they put it over, like he didn't get enough, so he gave him another one, and that's when they went down.
What? It was a phantom kick. It was the Bruce Lee treatment. He hit him. It was no, he didn't hit him. He got close to him, but the wind, what's it called? Not the wind, but you could
The
feel
force.
You're talking about the
force.
1-inch punch. That's different. He still hits him. It's just from like an inch.
Why did you back away?
Because it felt weird.
I was going to punch you.
No, don't do that.
Let's play punchies. So after that, we got to see the New Day team up with Rusev to go up against Ziggler and the Dudley Boys. Thoughts on this matchup, guys?
Whoa, guys.
Guys?
Uh-oh.
Did you ever know you want some people to team up as much as you want Rusev and the New Day?
Oh my gosh,
Like,
that was hilarious.
just make these people a permanent stable because they were fucking awesome. And then commentary and the team, the creative team, the commentary team, they made no effort to like
put it over.
to put over like that Rusev used to like beat the fuck out of these guys and like now they're friends. But on Twitter later, all the members of the New Day and even Rusev like put out how they squashed their beef, how they went out to dinner to squash their beef, and how like they're the best.
Table for 4.
They're like, we're the best fucking unit in the WWE right now. Shield and why it's what? It's like Rusev and
Dude, I loved it whenever they came out and he was doing his thing. They're all like trying to do what the Rusev was doing and stuff in the ring. That was hilarious.
yeah, they were fucking awesome. They're great together. Rusev's great. The New Day is great.
They were all making the crazy faces at the end.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I saw a gif of Summer Rae playing with Xavier's trombone.
Oh,
Yeah, she did that.
Like whenever they're in the corner doing like you
The
know how
stomps.
yeah. Well, she was like doing it for him like as he was.
You missed it. Xavier played Rusev's theme on
Oh
trombone.
yeah, it was awesome. He was doing the bump, 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 bump.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, he was still selling like the table injury from the night. Like he limped all the way out, but the character work was so great because he was the obviously injured and like I got my ass beat, but he was still trying to do the keep it positive thing as he is like, oh, my ass is beat, but I'm trying to be positive about it. It's
They were all like,
they were like, come on, dude, you got this. We're positive.
well, when they were first coming out, they were like all skipping and jumping. He was limping and stuff.
And then Kofi like went and got him by the arm. Was like, all right, come on, we got this.
Nice.
Gold.
That was something that was pretty funny from the WWE Live whenever they put Xavier through the table and Big E like grabbed his leg and then Kofi grabbed like his arm and they just like drug him down the aisle.
That was funny. But another thing they did at the house show was funny because it was a triple threat match. It was New Day, Dudley's, and
Primetime
players. But whenever Xavier did something to Darren and he got on the ground or whatever,
He got like one bit of offense
He jumped
on.
up on to the turnbuckle and he was just dancing and Kofi was straddling like the the corner right there and Big E got on the side and he was doing pelvic thrust stuff. It was just hilarious. So, yeah.
Funny stuff.
Yeah, just golden stuff from New Day. Awesome.
They're easily the most entertaining group.
They
in the
make it
WWE
fun.
right
They're
now.
having fun.
Yeah.
And we could tell they're having fun too, so it's good.
I think Rusev's pretty good himself, and so they sort of put like the most enjoyable parts of Raw like in the same team for me, and I was like, that's cool. Like, yeah, I definitely want that.
The New Day
cracked
teaming
me
up with Rusev go on to defeat Dolph Ziggler and Dudley Boys. Anything to really take away from the match aside from the fun?
I want to rewatch it again.
Yeah.
That match.
Who went over?
Rusev and the
New Day.
New
That's
Day.
right. That's right.
So after that, we got to see Naomi going up against returning Natalya. And
They sort of played it off as, I guess, in Paige's promo. She was like, where's Natalya? Do you even work here anymore? And Natalya, like, before she came out, was sort of like, yeah, I saw what you did. That's fucked up. Like, who the hell do you think you are? And, like, yes, I
Bitch.
still work here, and I'm about to show you what's up. And she just sort of, like, went out for her match or whatever.
and then she lost.
Yeah.
So that's what she does.
Wait, did she lose?
She
Yeah,
did.
Natalya lost.
Lost to Naomi.
Yeah, because Naomi.
mean, I
Rear
remember-
view.
Yeah, she did ass to face.
Ass to mouth.
Ass to mouth. She did the
You
ass
know,
to
if it was the Attitude Era, that's what they'd be calling this finisher.
She did the ass
oh,
to mouth.
Naomi with the ass to mouth. You never go ass to mouth. Never.
She nailed it with the ass to mouth. I like that. That's what's going to be called now.
I don't know why I can't remember any
Never go
finishes
ass to
of
mouth.
these fucking matches.
I remember
Well,
distinctly.
Naomi went ass to mouth with Natalia.
That's what we're going to call it.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, so Naomi ends up getting the victory. After that, we got to see Big Show going up against Cesaro. Very short matchup. Big Show gets the win to hype up his upcoming match with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
Big
which,
Show and Cesaro. The same thing they did on House Show. Big Show and Cesaro.
yeah, we didn't really mention it in the pay-per-view, but like how everyone found out about like the main event of Hell in a Cell was just in that
Oh
video
my
package. It was just like,
gosh.
hey guys, here's a video package. This is
Yeah.
your main event.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little weird, but
That's
they
very
don't
strange.
usually do things that way.
No, it's just.
I've
Oh, hey,
never
by the
seen
way,
that.
Lesnar versus Taker, Hell in a Cell. It's happening. So there's
They
that.
didn't even put it over like before that on Raw or anything. It's just
I
video
mean, I
package.
guess
I'm like,
neither of them are there, so they couldn't like be whatever.
oh my gosh.
But are you guys surprised that they didn't wait till Mania to do this rematch?
No, nothing surprised me with WWE. To
I'm
be
kind of
honest,
glad, to be honest, that they're not waiting till Mania.
I mean, I'm not saying your preference. I'm saying, are you surprised that it's coming this soon?
I'm surprised that that's how we found out. That there was no other mention. Like, I figured they would have done something like at Madison Square Garden where Undertaker appears and is like, this isn't over, you know? Something like that. And then you set up for their matchup. But I get it. You're on a short time frame, but you want to hype it up as long as you
I
can.
just wonder what they do with either one of these guys come Mania. Because Sting fills out of the equation. So
Yeah.
are you going to do Rock? You're going to entice The Rock to come back and wrestle Lesnar? I don't know.
Yeah, more than likely. Or Triple H or
Feels like they want to do the Triple H
Rollins.
Rollins,
thing.
yeah.
Maybe, I mean, will we make it that long without them doing that? I don't know.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure they'll find some way. But yeah, so Big Show ends up defeating Cesaro, which is sad to see. But after that, we got to see John Cena go up against Seth Rollins to retain the United States title. John Cena getting the victory. Anything to really take away from it?
I don't know. I didn't see that match, but that's good. So John Cena can retain it and
Yeah.
put on
U.S.
more
Open
matches.
Challenge. Woo! I'm excited for that. I hope they keep doing that, or at least bring it back. But after the matchup, Kane, from what I understand, appeared up on the Titantron.
Well, Corporate Kane was on the Titantron, and then the Demon Kane came out from underneath the ring. So it was like I'm talking on the Tron.
How could I be in the ring if I'm on there on the
And then
Titantron?
it's just like
Yeah.
dragging him under the ring.
Rawr, I got you, bitch. That's right. So that's pretty much how we closed it out. So really,
Oh, did you catch the stuff afterwards? The JBL with
no, I didn't get to watch that.
The one thing that was, I was curious because they did clips and stuff and what I saw, and like it was like JBL talking to Eric Bischoff, and like I remember Eric Bischoff was like, "Oh, Russo wanted to do this," and they're talking about Russo. I was like, "Oh, I kind of want to listen."
I
to that.
watched like the first 5 minutes when I fell asleep because I had like another long work day. I was gonna watch it tonight, although I don't know by the time I get home I might not end up watching it.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty curious, so I think I'll catch
Did either of you guys get to catch that Table for Three special that they're doing now?
What's that?
It's basically like they sit 3 people down for
Yeah,
a
like
dinner and they
dinner.
just have casual conversation.
Who was it?
The very first one was the New Day. Like all 3 of them sitting together talking about
Oh,
you know,
that's pretty cool.
how it was how the New Day was formed and how they approached Vince about it and all that. It was really cool. It was a really fun story. But supposedly like the next one is going to have like divas of the past, like former female wrestlers.
I want to say I saw a commercial about that or something.
It was pretty interesting. It was pretty enjoyable. So I definitely recommend checking that out. But now something very special for all of you listeners, our exclusive interview with the world's strongest man.
That's what I do.
You're listening to a special interview segment for the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com.
Okay, folks, joining us on the show this week, he is the world's strongest man. He is a two-time Olympian, former WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the one and only WWE Superstar, Mark Henry. Welcome to the show.
How you doing, man?
I am doing fantastic. We're looking forward to having you come back to your hometown at WWE Live, coming to Ford Arena in Beaumont this Saturday, where you can see John Cena, Seth Rollins, primetime players, Kevin Owens, many more, and, of course, the hometown hero, Silsby's own Mark Henry. So are you getting excited?
I'm looking real forward to coming back to my home area. You said back to your hometown, and I always have to say Silsby because I always say residing in Austin, but born and raised in Silsby, Texas.
Absolutely, and we're happy to have you back. And fun little personal story. Our co-host Doug is unfortunately not here this week, but he had a very close encounter with you one of the last times that you were down here. He had front row tickets, and it was when you were the World Heavyweight Champion. He actually was able to pat you on the back as you were making your entrance, and you turned to him and said, "Keep your hands to yourself." And he is, and he is probably one of your biggest fans,
You're lucky that I didn't threaten to eat his face off.
Yeah, he turned to us and said, "This was the only time. I think this is the only time I've been genuinely scared for my life." So it was a really good time. So, WWE Live coming to Beaumont, it's going to be a great time. We're excited to see you. We're excited to see you perform in front of your friends and family. We could sit here for quite a while and run down the list of your accomplishments. You've been a 3-time U.S. National Weightlifting Champion, Powerlifting Champion, Arnold Strongman Classic winner. You could go on and on and on. But to you, what is your personal greatest accomplishment?
You know what? This is going to sound real hokey and cheesy, but multiple times in my life, I've had people walk up to me and say, "Hey, man, you don't know me from Adam, but I just want to let you know that I was inspired by you lifting, by you wrestling, and it changed my life." I had a guy that got out of prison contact me recently and say how if it wasn't for wrestling and it wasn't for him being a strong guy, being one of the strongest guys in the prison that he was in, and the lifting taking over his life, that he probably would have went back probably to a life of crime. But now he's a recognized, world-ranked powerlifter, and has a good job and is like living his life. And every Monday night he watches wrestling and does his curls and workout that he does. And I was like, man, I really appreciate it. He said, but you know what, man, the thing is I'm from Texas. I was in Huntsville prison, and I used to always hear this legend of Mark Henry, and that's one of the things that made me want to do better. And I was like, wow, like that I appreciate. And every story of people telling me that I inspired them to be better supersedes any accomplishment that I ever made.
Wow. Yeah, it's always, you never know what kind of impact you have on another person's life.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And, you've been in the WWE for quite a while now. We're actually coming up on 20 years next March. Did the time just fly by for you, or how much longer do you think that you'll want to perform?
It only flew by when I was not injured. Whenever you're injured, it's like paint drying. It's just... the time slows down and you're able to get in your own head too much. But for the most part, these last 19 years have been amazing. I've watched people's kids grow up, and from crawling and, hey, can you take a picture with my baby, to my son is a sophomore in college. And I'm like, wow. Like, it's been 19 years is a long time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, I hate making people realize how long they've been in the business, but when I was younger, when Raw came to the Montaigne Center here in Beaumont, I was there the episode where you had the fallout with China involving Sammy with your mother in the front row.
Mom was thanking me.
Yes, I believe in middle school around the time. and was just cracking up laughing watching your mom spank you as she's grabbing you by the ear and walking you backstage.
Yeah, that's one of the highlights of my wrestling career.
And you've had lots of great memories. You've been involved in fun storylines, serious storylines, whether it be with Mae Young or whether it was the Hall of Pain or the Bent on Destruction.
Sexual chocolate.
Sexual chocolate, something that people still remember to this day, still chant to you. How does it feel whenever you hear the fans chant that to you nowadays?
It's hilarious to me. I actually embrace it and start dancing and sweet talking, blowing kisses at girls and all kind of stuff. So I embrace it. It's a part of my career that the older fans remember and like, and now the young kids are watching the network and they're seeing it and they're going, "Why was Mark Henry smiling and dancing all the time?" Like they don't realize that I've been about 4 or 5 different things in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've seen you start all the way up, Nation of Domination, Sexual Chocolate, teaming here and there. And you had what, in my personal opinion, was the run of your career back in 2011, where you were just absolutely on fire. You had your Hall of Pain run going. You defeated Randy Orton to become the World Heavyweight Champion for the very first time. But unfortunately, the run ended a little early due to an injury. But what were your thoughts on the Hall of Pain run?
I definitely think that it was the best and the most serious part of my career. I don't think it was the most entertaining part of my career, but it was the more validating point in my career. Anytime that you dominate the best talent in the world and become world champion, and not only become world champion, but main event pay-per-views, and, for some guys in our industry, to have one main event on a regular TV show, on Raw, SmackDown, Velocity, Heat, all the shows that we had in the past, the main event, like just main event one time is an accomplishment. But the main event a few hundred times, and to main event a WrestleMania with The Undertaker, and to the main event multiple pay-per-views, and actually create an era in wrestling. The Hall of Pain era is a thing. It's something that happened and existed, and I'm just proud of my career. I mean, I don't have a problem walking away, and being 44 years old and approaching 45, and kids in school crying and complaining when I leave. Well, my son doesn't, but my daughter does. My son is like, "Dad, you have to wrestle forever." And I want to go with you. I'm like, "No, man, like, you got school, like, chill out." But nonetheless, it's a family affair, like, and I look forward to getting to Beaumont and seeing not only my family, but a lot of the friends and people that I kept contact with. There's a lot of special people, and I have friends, guys and girls that I went to school with, and I've had like 50 calls this past week.
Oh, yeah.
Of people that saying, "Hey, man, I'm coming to the show. Like, any way I can get backstage and meet John Cena." All right. Nobody's coming backstage. Just take me along. Enjoy the show. If I can get a spare ticket, I'll try my best, but I can't promise anything. But it's been a good ride.
Very cool. And, you are talking about the day that you do eventually hang up the boots. We saw you a couple years ago pull off just the amazing fake retirement segment with John Cena. I mean, it was just so well done, the emotion that you portrayed, and it was just so well done. And I can't stop hyping it enough because it was so good. But when it does come time for you to hang up the boots for good, how would you like to go out? Would you sort of fade off, or would you want to let the world know, "Hey, it's coming up towards the end. Here's going to be my final dates. Hope to see you all out there"? Or would you like to have sort of another announcement like you did with your fake retirement?
Well, I think that I want to go out in dramatic fashion, win, lose, or draw. I want to have a retirement match. And a lot of guys have done it throughout history. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to, see kind of what style of match. And I maybe even let the WWE universe decide what my match will be. Mm-hmm. And, I'm not sure yet, but it's imminent. It's coming.
Any preference on opponent?
Oh, my gosh. You know what, man? Like, Daniel Bryan is like one of my favorite wrestlers. Like, as a talent, as an entertainer, as the way our fans love him and revere him. There's never been a match that he and I were in where it was bad. Mm-hmm. Like, he's one that I would definitely like to consider. He's been gone a long time, dealing with injuries, and I know how that feels. And I just think that somebody like Daniel with his credentials would be really, really cool.
It's been documented that you're a wrestling fan. We know that you watch it outside of the business and you still enjoy it. What appealed to you when you were younger? What appeals to you today about the sport? And what is your favorite matchup of yours that you were not a part of?
The thing that made me a wrestling fan is I used to get so mad at people. And I love the bad guys for some reason. I want to see a bad guy really get it. And it's not even so much the good guy. I want to see the bad guy get it. And the badder the guy is, the better it is for me. The happier I am when he really gets his butt kicked. And I can watch wrestling today. I recently posted a video on Facebook and Twitter of Danny Davis and Stone Cold, stunning Steve Austin at the time. And I sit at home and I watch old wrestling. That's how I entertain myself. And I had my son on the couch. The dog was sitting there watching. We're all invested. And that's kind of like what our fans want. They want to see somebody get it. If they're a fan of the good guy and they want to be angry, then the Hall of Pain era would have been great for them because there was not a good guy walking that didn't get his face stomped in. And you want to see that too. But as far as a match that I looked at from the outside, there's actually two. Ricky Steamboat and Pat Patterson back in, I think it was 86, was one that just, it was hard for me to not be a wrestling fan watching that match. And more in the modern era, the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels won. If you have not seen that match, you have got to go on YouTube or the WWE Network and pull that match up. It is breathtaking. Like, there's so much stuff that goes on that you just can't even watch it at one time and get it. You got to watch it at least 2 or 3 times. And, I may even put together a list of my top 10 favorite matches and have them put it on the network, on the WWE website. But yeah, I'm a diehard fan, man. The boot camp match, Sergeant Slaughter and Pat Patterson. Pat Patterson was one of the more gifted psychologists and told the best stories, and that's something that I like about wrestling. It's not just physical; it tells a story. It's an emotion. It's a book in 15, 20 minutes, and so much happens. And if you know the history of the two, it's even better. But if not, you get invested and you just so well entertained.
Being a veteran in the business, you've had plenty of matches. You've seen a lot. You've seen wrestlers and talent come and go. Is there anyone that sort of comes to you for advice? Some of the younger talent that you kind of help out and At what point in your career did you realize that you went from being the person who was asking the questions to being the guy giving the answers?
That's a wonderful question. Actually, a lot of the guys do. They come back and they ask me about different eras and attitude era and pre-attitude era and the time now. What do I think about this? What do I think about that? And I'm honored to be able to give that advice. And I feel like it's necessary to give back. There were guys that were very selfish when I came in the industry. They wouldn't tell you nothing unless they were forced to tell it because they were worried about you taking their spot. And now it's just a lot different. I feel like I owe the industry the advice and all of the lessons that I've learned to help make the business better than when I came into it. And when I came in, Ernie Ladd, he was the first black booker in professional wrestling. And he told me, you know, there's a stigma about the African American wrestler, and I need for you to exemplify greatness because that's the way people see you, and don't mess it up for everybody after you. And I was like, wow, a lot of pressure to put the whole plight of the African American wrestler on my shoulders. But at that time, there was only 3 African American wrestlers in the industry, at the WWE, and now there's at least 12 that I know of in the company. So I have helped change a lot of things, and I'm looking forward to working with the company long after I'm done wrestling.
Very cool. You're going to probably do something a little bit maybe backstage over at the Performance Center as well?
Well, right now I'm working with international marketing. I'm already working, but I want to do more talent development. I've worked with Kenyon Seaman, who's the head of talent development for the company. We went and scouted the Olympics looking for talent. We've gone to the Olympic Training Center. Right now, Braun Strowman is one of the guys that I brought in. He's a former strongman. There's another one that's on Game of Thrones. He's the Mountain.
Yes.
His name is Hafthor Bjornsson. He's a strong man. And once he wins the World Championships this year, then he'll come in and I'll start training him. So,
that's going to be huge.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and I'm looking forward to being able to do all that stuff. But right now, I'm 100% in, and until I make that decision, I'm going to do my best to try to be world champion again.
That's what we're looking for. Really cool stuff. And being on the road 200, 300 days of the year for the past, 19 years, what's one of the biggest things you've learned about being on the road so much? And, do you give any advice to young wrestlers? Like, what would you tell someone who's wanting to get in the business that they might not know about being on the road so much?
Well, first, to answer the first question, if I was going to tell them something about being on the road is everything you earn, don't spend. And that's a hard lesson. A lot of wrestlers throughout history have came in, made a lot of money, and then spent a lot of money, and then when they're done, they have no retirement and they're broke. And the other thing would be to diversify yourself and do some movies, go to acting school, like write a book, learn other things that involve your journey and your experiences and put that out there. I'm writing my book right now, and there was stuff that I've forgotten about, and I was like, man, I got to put that in there. And, when that book comes out, it's going to make some people that I love very angry. But it's the truth, and it's the story, and it's what's going to sell the book. And, I'm just looking forward to telling the young guys to keep a journal and keep a diary, if you will, of, to be able to reach back and write your memoirs.
One thing that I'd really like to see one day is a Mark Henry documentary, like all, through your younger days of weightlifting here in Silsbee, and just sort of reminisce and go through your
around Silsbee and Beaumont and Port Arthur. I got family everywhere around there. And
oh yeah.
My dad was from Kuntz. So I have so many friends in like Hemp Hill and Jasper.
Mm-hmm.
Just the whole Golden Triangle in Southeast Texas and the Big Thicket, or whatever you want to call our area. There's so many names for it. I have a lot of experiences. I recently talked to somebody about doing a documentary, and the point that he brought up was, he said, "You've been world champion in 4 different things," and I couldn't remember like what he mentioned at the time, but to be a world champion in powerlifting and a world champion in strongman and pro wrestling, and I think he confused the fact that I was national champion in weightlifting with being a world champion. Is quite different. But to be a world champion in 3 sports and a national champion in 4 sports is pretty impressive, and I doubt it'd be hard pressed to find somebody that is able to do that and has done that. So, I'm very proud of my career.
I know you're a busy person, and we got to let you go. We got one more question for you, and we love to ask it. You've been on the road for so long. Is there any on-the-road stories that you could share with us? Because we love hearing people. You never know what you're going to get.
Well, the story I'm going to tell is funny because it's in the magazine. It was in WWE magazine. Me and Primo and Epico and Jack Swagger were all in a car one night, and a deer ran out in front of us, and Jack Swagger swerved real hard to keep from hitting the deer, and it had rained for like 3 or 4 days, so we ran right into the mud and got stuck.
Oh man,
we couldn't get out, and we was like, man, like put it in reverse, rock it, turn the wheels, do everything you could do. He couldn't get out. So we all got out, feet 3-4 inches deep in the mud. We taking out old shirts, going and finding sticks and old tires and rims, and hubcaps and everything, shoving it under the wheels, and we still can't get out. And we like, man, we're gonna be here all night, like golly. And then about that time, Primo said, man, let me see if I could do it. And he turned the wheel real hard, and he started turning. He said, why? Just the front wheels are spinning. He was like, why don't you? We were in a 4x4. He said, is it in 4-wheel drive? And this is after 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Everybody is completely muddy, and he pushes the button on the car, 4-wheel drive, and just pulls right out of the mud. And if Jack Swagger would have just looked down and pushed the 4-wheel button, we would have never gotten muddy. It would have took us like 30 seconds to get out of the mud. But that was one moment on the road that I wanted to choke Jack Swagger to death, and everybody else did too.
Very cool. Well, we certainly appreciate you coming on the show. We appreciate you and everything that you've done in your career, and we certainly look forward to seeing you at WWE Live at Ford Arena here in Beaumont this Saturday, where you can still see John Cena, Seth Rollins, primetime players, Kevin Owens, and Silsbee his own, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. Mark, we certainly appreciate it, and hope you have a great day.
Man, I'm very, very happy to do your show, man. I look forward to it. Hopefully I'll meet you guys. So make sure that, if you go to the show, tell them that I said that I wanted to meet you.
We will definitely do that. Awesome. Thank you very much. And have
you left out the Dudley Boys. The Dudley Boys are in that triple threat tag team.
Absolutely.
Players and New Day.
And New Day, that's right. It's going to be
that's going to be an unbelievable match.
Absolutely. Well, thank you once again for your time. You have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you this Saturday.
All right, man. I'll see you out there.
All right. Take care. Really good stuff. And now time to go into the Q&A portion of the show. Your questions, our answers. First question coming to us from Jamal saying, "Good day, fellas. Love your work. There's something that has really been bugging me, and that's Dolph Ziggler. Remember his Money in the Bank, AJ Lee heel run and how awesome it was? Now, since becoming a face, he's been booked horribly. His best thing that happens to him while a face was the Survivor Series stint where he went through and pinned like 3 guys, and even that was outshadowed by Sting's debut. Do you guys think he is world title worthy anymore, or should he not just go back to being a heel sooner rather than later?"
I hate to break it to you, Jamal, but personally, I never thought he was world title worthy. Even the stint that you're speaking highly of for yourself, I never thought the guy was world champion material. I think he lacks a lot offensively. I don't buy any of his offense. I think that's a big problem. I don't think he knows how to measure his bumps when. I don't think he knows how to. I mean, I've talked about this shit a lot, so people who've heard this show have heard me say all this bullshit before. But he doesn't know like how to measure his bumps in the sense that not everything needs to look like it kills you. You have to like sort of because that lessens the impact of things that should look like it have killed you. So it sort of like dilutes his bumping. I think he has a lot of problems. Almost none of his offense, save for his drop kick, looks credible to me. So I have a lot of problems with the guy. I know the fans like him, and I give him the fact that he's over, or at least he has been over in the past. I feel like his overness is sort of waning, probably because of booking. But I don't take away his overness, but I have a lot of problems with him as a wrestler, and I've never found him as a world title worthy guy.
How about you, Tyler?
Yeah, I never picture him in that, world title picture or whatever. There was that one time that I thought he was doing good or whatever. It was like Team John Cena, remember?
That's what he's talking about.
That's what he's talking about that time. Yeah. I felt like they did a good in that time period, they did a good job with them, and then it just fell. But.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't want to take away that he's obviously a hard worker, and I salute him for that, but it just, for my taste, I don't buy it.
Yeah, and not to mention that pretty much every time that he got a championship, he ended up getting injured in some form or fashion.
Same thing with Barrett. Like, they're scared to push those guys.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things that's unfortunate. I know he's wicked over with the crowd, but I think maybe this Rusev and Ziggler storyline is going to end up leading to Ziggler turning heel in some form or fashion. But, I can't see it anymore. I used to be able to see it and be like, yeah, dude, he's got the potential. He just needs to hone on these few things, and it never happened. And so I don't know. I think the Survivor Series opportunity was completely blown on WWE's end. But it could just be them, not wanting to pull the trigger on someone who is potentially injury prone.
But thanks for listening, Jamal.
Yeah, but we certainly do appreciate the question. Next question coming to us from Shane saying, "Is it just me, or did Paige's rant on Raw sound like an AJ Lee pipe bomb? She dissed pretty much every diva on the main roster, and WWE sure seemed quick to distance themselves from anything involving AJ Lee or CM Punk, yet they're still doing these pipe bomb segments that made them both famous."
I don't think that has anything to do with... Like, the whole work to shoot promo is not a thing that is exclusive to CM Punk or to Paige. Now, that was the first time in a while that it had been executed, like, so well.
Yeah.
And it had been executed so prominently. The work shoot thing, I mean, I don't know, maybe later WCW, like, as it was dying, like, the work shoot shit was, like, in the main event scene.
Right.
But, like, it had been a while since they had like allowed something like that to be so prominent on the show. One
good work shoot that you can go back and rewatch on YouTube is the Joey Styles shoot where he was pissed off about
JBL stuff. You mean? Oh, you mean like he was like, "Fuck this! I don't need this."
Yeah, I didn't want this job. Yeah. I don't need this job. And for all For all I care, this job can suck it.
Yeah, I mean, Punk didn't start this shit. It was the most. I mean, I guess it was the most recent example of that, like, being executed like really well. So people sort of attribute that to CM Punk, but that shit's been around for a long time.
And not to mention, Paul Heyman's been like teasing at it every once in a while when he cuts a promo.
Yeah,
He's like, you want to know about what really happened when Undertaker walked through that curtain at WrestleMania? And,
sure.
You know.
I mean, I don't think it's. I know people are like really partial to Punk and AJ. First of all, like all this shit that people talk about the Bellas, you know, AJ's in that same boat because she was with Punk when she was getting her hot push. So, I mean, you guys got to be a little bit more objective about this stuff if you want to pick and choose who you're like so like disgusted by. Like AJ was with a top guy, just like the Bellas were with top guys and all that stuff. So, I know people like her, but man, I don't think she's nearly as revolutionary as people thought she was for the women's division. Now, if you want to talk Sasha Banks, like you have my fucking attention. Like that's someone who I think is like a sea change in what women's wrestling can be. But to me, AJ was just like someone who they got behind her character. To me, AJ never had it in the fucking ring, and she was an okay talker, but she wasn't like a great promo or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think that. What you got to think about when it comes to Punk and AJ, yes, we can argue and debate about who was right in all that between Punk and the WWE, but the bottom line is they don't want anything to do with Punk because Punk left. If Punk was here, they wouldn't be like, he may not be in the position that he wanted, but he wouldn't be like ostracized. He would still be like used as a guy who's going to make money for them. Like they don't want to deal with like people like trying to take over their shows by like chanting like CM Punk, and they don't want to, like, he's not there, so they're like, fuck him. I mean, that's their right to do. I mean,
yeah.
But
even more so now that he's at the UFC.
Yeah, sure. I mean, which they claim the UFC is not competition. They clearly think it's competition. They clearly think it's competition. But yeah, man, I don't know. That stuff's been around before, long before Punk and AJ, and it'll be long after. And I don't know. I think people are too quick to like praise AJ and too quick to shit on some of these other, and maybe it's just me, guys, but I don't see that big of a fucking difference between AJ and these girls that get shit on all the time. It's just not there to me. Now, if you want to talk Sasha or Becky Lynch, okay, we're talking different calibers of women here,
right?
But fucking AJ is to me in the same ballpark as everyone that's getting trashed. Sorry, that's just how I feel.
Sorry. All right. Well, thank you for the question. We have one final question, and this one's more directed towards Tyler, because you know, I made the decision to go back and listen to some of our old classic memories of the podcast, and posted one on YouTube about an elimination chamber. And my fiance loved it so much, of your 6-person celebrity elimination chamber match, she asked us to do another one. So we're gonna Okay, I say us, but you know, it's more you because you've got quite the wacky mind that we like to dive into. No pressure.
No pressure. I don't.
You know, it's only my fiance, and you are my best man, so nothing riding on this whatsoever. But she did pose a question, another celebrity elimination chamber match. So here's what she's got. She wants me, Daniel, myself, to go up against Nega Scott from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Richard Simmons, Harry Potter, Summer Rae, and a ferret. A ferret. A little creature. So elimination chamber match featuring myself, Nega Scott, Richard Simmons, Harry Potter, Summer Rae, and ferret.
Well, the finish is obvious.
Oh?
Yeah.
Okay.
You and Nega Scott walk out saying you're going to do brunch.
Yeah, well, Nega Scott is just a good guy in general. He's
once you get to know him. So, okay, well, take us through it. Who's going to start this matchup?
I don't know.
So the cage is coming down. 4 people or 4 creatures have entered the pods.
Wow.
And now two are left to enter the chamber and start the matchup. Who you got?
What kind of ferret? It's just a regular ferret?
Yeah, just a regular ferret. you can choose what color fur it has. Brown fur.
Light brown.
Light brown fur. Light brown furred ferret.
Well, I guess we'll go with the bird and the ferret.
The bird? All right.
The bird and the ferret.
So Summer Rae and a ferret kick off this matchup.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a drink. It's gonna be
well. So walk us through it. Okay, I'm envisioning it now. We've got the chamber, and we've got Summer Rae and a little ferret in the ring.
Yeah.
All right.
And I guess Summer Rae she likes the ferret.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a cute little thing, and she wants to pet it.
Mm-hmm.
And ferrets are what? Nuts? They're crazy, right?
I mean, they can be. They can be pretty calm.
They can? I don't know too much about ferrets.
I know some people keep them as pets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this one wants to win the title. So
This one's going for gold.
This one's going for gold. So
and not the gold hair of Summer Rae. That's for sure.
So I guess the ferret's gonna trick Summer Rae and act like all like
lovey-dovey
and stuff. Come pet me.
Puss in Boots and like lovely eyes. You know. Pet me and love me.
I assume the ferret is just gonna be like. It's just gonna be petted and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, aw, and the clock is ticking down, right? And
so it's stalling.
It's stalling.
So it has an accomplice in this matchup.
Yes.
Okay. So Summer Rae is now petting the ferret.
Yeah.
In hopes that it can stall long enough for a third entrant.
So I guess there's a lot of heavy petting going on.
Heavy petting, yes.
Going on
between bird and ferret.
And then so then after that, Richard Simmons comes in.
Yeah.
And he's happy to be there.
He's just happy to be anywhere.
Happy to be there.
Yeah.
So
happy to be alive.
He's like, "Hey, Summer Rae, let's work out." So they're doing like all these exercises and stuff like that. And then Richard Simmons looks at the ferret.
Yeah.
And the ferret looks at Richard Simmons. They nod at each other.
Oh, the fix is in.
Yeah. Well, they should have done something differently because Richard Simmons should have been last, but oh well, he came in third. So
well, you can't stall for that long.
Yeah.
Because eventually someone else is going to come in.
So Summer Rae is being attacked by the ferret.
Mm-hmm. And Richard Simmons.
Well, he's just laughing.
He's just laughing.
He's just laughing.
Oh, okay.
So Richard, right now he's laughing, and then the ferret is like biting Summer Rae.
So Richard Simmons and the ferret are working together.
Yeah. What?
And instead of attacking Summer Rae together,
he's going to.
Okay.
After like the ferret's like biting Summer Rae, and I think like Richard Simmons does like some exercise kick to the bird.
To the bird.
And then she's on the ground, and the ferret pins the bird. 1, 2, 3.
Wow. So the ferret takes out Summer Rae.
Well, Richard Simmons kicks the bird.
Right.
She falls on the ground.
So then she's down, and ferret gets the pin. All right. So now we've got Richard Simmons and a ferret in the elimination chamber.
Nuts.
Did they turn on each other, or are they waiting for the next opponent?
They're waiting for the next opponent.
So it's going to be like a 2-on-1 scenario. They're hoping the numbers work in their favor.
I'm pretty sure that the Richard Simmons and the ferret are doing exercises in the ring.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, does the ferret do flips or anything?
Yeah, stuff like that. And the ferret's
just rolling around.
Can I say that whenever I was like younger and I don't know, maybe I was like 8 or 9 or something, I used to do like Sweating to the Oldies with my mom. My mom would do Sweating to the Oldies of the Richard Simmons thing, and I would do it with it. I don't know why. I saw the name, so I shared.
That's cool.
It's not relevant to your match in the Lilies, other than I did the Sweating to the Oldies too, I believe, with my mom.
All right. So we still got Richard Simmons and the ferret in the ring together.
Yeah.
So they're working out. They're getting their stretches on. Summer Rae's already taken care of. She's gone. Bird Law is gone and over with. So the time is ticking down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Door opens and out comes
Nega Scott.
Yeah. Nega Scott.
Here's the crazy thing about Nega Scott. We don't know too much about him.
We don't.
He's a wild card, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's also nice.
Okay.
He's also nice. So there's about to be a showdown, right?
Okay.
But it's Nega Scott versus Richard Simmons, and the ferret is run all over the ring.
So is he trying to distract Nega Scott?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. Well, Nega Scott is paying attention to him, but he's not. He's looking at him. Then he turns his eye to Richard Simmons.
Those red eyes.
The red eyes.
Yeah. Were they red? I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they lock up, right?
Richard Simmons and Nega Scott lock up.
Yeah.
And it's intense.
It's intense. And I don't know where it's going. So they're doing holds for a while. And then he gets them in a what's the hold called where it's like he gets behind him and he's doing I forgot what that's called.
Like a bear hug?
No, I don't think that's what it's called. He has some sort of lock from behind or whatever.
Who's he?
Richard Simmons is
So
doing
Richard
it
Simmons
today.
is behind Nega Scott.
Yeah. And that's so ridiculous. And then he grabs him by the hip and then he does like a hula hoop thing.
Mm-hmm. Bring it around town.
Yeah, bring it around town. Nega Scott doesn't like that. So one thing I don't know is Nega Scott have powers?
I don't know. That's a good question. Doug,
Yes.
you're our official in this situation.
Okay.
Does Nega Scott have any powers?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
What's his powers?
Any word on his official power?
He's more so. He's just like the inverse of Scott. So he's like idiot savant, I guess, with the fighting, and then he's just a little bit more nega about it. I don't know. Anything
that's-
Scott Pilgrim can do, he can do.
So he can
I
pull
like
a
that.
sword out of his chest.
So
if
I
he
mean,
wanted.
you would classify Scott as a guy with powers, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so then he can do what Scott can do.
That is true. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
I'm learning more
It's good to
about-
know.
I'm learning more about Nega
Yeah.
Scott.
Scott earned the power of love.
Hey, can I say, because we record on nights that Total Divas are on, so we didn't really cover this season, but apparently there's something which is going on right now as we're recording for people who give a fuck. There's something about on this season where Natalya is about to confront TJ and Cesaro over having like their friendship is like, I guess like too much, and like she's in the back burner, like almost like they're having some like secret affair or something on it, and like so she's confronting them about their friendship being too awesome and her taking like a back seat to TJ. And so then Tyson Kidd just tweeted out, "Let me see this. Hey Natalya, don't be jealous of my friendship with Cesaro. Last night both of you were on Raw. One wore a kid armband. Just say it." Pretty awesome.
Wow. So we now know. Okay, so Richard Simmons bringing around town
Yeah.
on Nega Scott, and Nega Scott has powers. Ferret's running around the ring.
And then he grabs his arms and just like throws them off, or like he grabs his.
There's like, get off me, Richard Simmons.
Yeah. Then he is like fighting. He's fighting, not wrestling.
Right.
Then he like. I
Because
think
Scott Pilgrim is a fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he does like this running kick, and he hits Richard Simmons while this stuff's going on. And then another person comes in.
Uh-oh.
It is
New contestant. New
Harry
competitor.
Potter.
Harry Potter is now
Yeah.
in the fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
So while Richard Simmons and Nega Scott are fighting, Harry Potter goes after the ferret, and he's hard. He can't hit the ferret with the spells.
Harry Potter's a chump. I'm just gonna.
He's a
say
chump.
He's got mystical powers.
Chumpy mystical powers.
He's a wizard.
chump wizard.
So they're running around the ring, and I think they get in the way of Nega Scott and Richard Simmons, and Nega Scott like then pulls out his sword.
Which one? Love, power?
Not love. It wouldn't be love.
Okay.
I guess it'd be power.
Scott earned the power of power.
So it's that sword versus the wand.
Mm-hmm.
And he did some sort of spell, and it bounced off the wand and hit the ferret, and the ferret turned to David Bowie.
Wait, so hang on. Back up just a little bit. So Scott Pilgrim does a spell, and it bounces off of Harry Potter?
No. Harry Potter does a spell with his wand, and it hits the sword.
Oh, it hits the
and
sword.
bounces off and hits the ferret.
Hits the ferret, and poof, out of nowhere, it's fucking David Bowie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Ferret Bowie He's in there.
David Bowie, former champion of a Celebrity Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah.
David Bowie.
And they're like, whoa. And so Nega Scott and
I gotta update all the
Harry
roster now.
Potter are still fighting. I think it gets to a point where the sword hits the wand and like breaks it.
So Harry Potter's wand is now broken.
Yeah, it is now broken.
Uh-oh.
And then what's it called? Nega Scott actually does a jump kick and hits.
Whoosh.
He hits Harry Potter in his chest.
Mm-hmm.
He goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And then Richard Simmons is on top of him doing like stomping and stuff and doing some exercising.
Sweating.
Yeah. And then he gets on the top turnbuckle and then like jumps off of it and lands on Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets the 1, 2, 3.
So Harry Potter is out.
Harry Potter is out.
Harry Potter is out. So he didn't last too long.
Yeah.
So now we've got Nega Scott, Richard Simmons, David Bowie in the ring.
Yeah.
I'm still in the pod.
Now you're in the ring.
Okay, now I'm in.
Now you're in the ring.
Dang it. I thought I could have held off a little bit longer.
Well, yeah.
But what can you do? Once those pod doors open, it's all out war.
Well, then you run in.
I
right?
run in.
Yeah, you
I'm
run
not
in.
I'm not much of a runner, but for this kind of match,
You grab Richard Simmons.
Yeah.
And you bear hug the shit out of him.
yeah.
He taps out.
He taps out. So I
taps.
make Richard Simmons submit
Yeah.
to the bear hug,
Yeah, he's
which I
out.
learned from you.
Yeah.
All right.
So he's out.
I'm liking that. I'm digging that. I'm fine with that.
So it's you, Nega Scott, and David Bowie.
Uh-huh.
And
Nitty gritty now.
yeah. Then y'all are all like in the ring, like facing each other.
Yeah. Triangle of death.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you and David Bowie team up versus Nega Scott.
Got this.
Yeah, well, Nega Scott beats the shit out of y'all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's no good.
Then he gets cocky,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And then he goes up to you. He's about to do a move to you.
Yeah.
David Bowie was like, "Hey,
Am I like up against the corner, like or am I like
yeah,
come
you're on the corner."
or-
and David
no.
Bowie is like just laid out in the ring, and
So
like,
I'm
he's
standing, but David Bowie's
No,
down.
you're like sitting against the bottom rope.
Okay.
Right there. And he comes up to him, and then David Bowie is whispering, or he's trying to say something negative. He's like, "What'd you say?" And he goes up to him, and then he blew some Ziggy Stardust in his eye.
Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah. And then he kicks him in the nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then all of a sudden you get up.
Well,
Yeah, and you clothesline him.
clothesline who? Nega Scott?
Yeah, Nega Scott.
Okay.
And then you run off the ropes, and then you do like a big splash to him. And then you're on top of him, and you get the 1, 2, 3.
So Nega Scott is out?
Yeah.
I thought you said he and I team up.
No.
at the end.
Him and David, you and David Bowie team up.
Oh, all right. So it's down to me and David Bowie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Final two.
Yeah.
I've come so far.
Well, something weird was happening with David Bowie.
Huh?
Like, something's not quite right. And
I swear to God, if you say he turns into Nega Scott.
No. Well, the spell's about to wear off, so he goes back to ferret.
Oh, okay.
He goes back to
So
ferret.
he's back to a ferret.
Yeah. So it's
So let
you
me
versus
change
a
this.
ferret.
So it's me versus a ferret.
Yeah.
All right.
You're having a hard time trying to catch that ferret.
I'm not very fast.
Yeah.
He's small and tiny and quick.
Well, you have food in your back pocket.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, and you also have a bag in
It's
the
not
corner.
squished, is it? Because I mean, if I was down on the ground, you know,
Well, the crackers are squished.
crackers are squished. Damn.
But there's that bag you kept by one of the chambers,
Mm-hmm.
and you keep tons of food in there.
So while the ferret's running around, I have
Yeah,
time.
well,
to-
he's biting you.
ah.
Yeah, and you try to get him off and stuff, and you go up to the middle, like the chains, and you're just beating the shit out of like the ferret.
So like, do I grab him by the tail and just start like banging him against the cage?
Well,
or
no,
something,
he's
or-
biting you, so you're hitting him.
Oh, okay.
You
so
know,
like
it's like
he's
he's
like
latched on-
lashed onto my arm, and I'm like slamming my arm into the chains.
you're-
Okay.
Yeah.
And the plexiglass and
Yeah, well,
get
he's
the
still
hell off me.
He's still going nuts. He's
Yeah.
now trying to bite all your body and stuff like that. And then,
As long as he doesn't hit any good like arteries or veins, then I'm okay.
well, yeah.
I mean, it's
And
gonna hurt,
There's
but
some blood,
a little
but,
bit. I can tough
You're
through
beating the shit out of him, but he's still going nuts. Nothing's affecting this little ferret.
Yeah.
And so he's going nuts. After he bites you, he's running around the ring, and he's climbing on everything, and you go get your food, right?
Right.
And you put it all in the pile. Well, you make a little trail, put it in a pile. He follows the trail. He's eating it.
So during all this time, he's like biting me while I'm setting a trail?
No, he's done biting you, and
so he just
going
stops
nuts.
biting me.
He
And...
bites you, and then he runs around, bites you some more, and he runs around.
Okay.
And then he stops for a while.
So there's a small lull. There's a time period where he is not biting me and just going absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So during this time, I set up a trail of food.
Yeah. And he follows it, and he's eating it. And you pick him up, right? You grab his head, and you grab his tail.
Uh-huh.
And then you do the world's strongest slam to the ferret. And then you're on him and then you go 1, 2, 3, and you're the winner.
Yes! I love it.
Well, it would have been different if he would have stayed with David Bowie, I would think. But
It would have had a lot more importance, but
yeah.
was it the real David Bowie?
No, it was a cheap knockoff.
Okay. So yeah, it was a spell.
Yeah, but you won.
So I am the winner
Yeah.
of the Elimination Chamber
Yes.
match. All right. And then after the match, Nugget Scott comes in and we walk off and
Yeah, we always shake hands.
Okay. Well,
And,
good stuff. I
yeah.
like that. Yeah. Doug, what do you think about that Elimination Chamber match? He's snoring.
He's sleeping.
Yeah, it's time to wrap it up.
I hope
so.
you like that, Kelsey. I tried. I was a little weary about it, but I didn't know what to do. But it happened.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get another one. Maybe we won't. We'll see. So, but thank you everyone for submitting your questions. We certainly appreciate it. Make sure to submit your questions on our YouTube channel, WNS Video. Also, our Facebook page, WNS Podcast. Check us out on WrestlingNewsSource.com and WrestlingNewsSource.com on Facebook. And subscribe to us on iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast.
You can find us on Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast to find us.
Hey, the podcast is on Twitter at WNS Podcast. Daniel's at WNS_Daniel. Tyler's at Tyler_Aber.
There you go. Really good stuff. So for the podcast crew, I am Daniel Herron.
I'm David Bowie.
I'm Doug.
And we will catch you all next week.